Hi, friends! Welcome to Nature Check's Arda Campaign, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. We at Nature Check are disgusted by the recent rash of hate raids attacking marginalized streamers on Twitch. We stand with the affected creators in demanding that Twitch do better on the back end programming to prevent spam bots and hate raids, because Twitch should be a place where everybody can create and be themselves. So please support those creators who are being targeted and demand that Twitch do better. Now on with our introductions. Hi, I'm Sheryl. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Dungeon Master for the Arda Campaign. I'm also a PhD candidate studying ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and when I'm not doing my research, I'm also a science communicator and the host of the Roving Naturalist on YouTube. Next, we have Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'm an entomologist at North Carolina A&T University, where I do horticultural research. And when I'm not doing that, I take pictures of small things and I post them on my Instagram. And I play Cedric, the Dwarven cleric, recently resurrected, and our pronouns are he, him.
Mm-hmm. Then there's Nancy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy, and I'm so excited to go after Peter again for the introduction. I'm an entomologist, which means that I study bugs, and I live in Quito, Ecuador, where I do eco tours focused on insects in the jungle. So if that sounds fun, we've got that started up again. I play a roguish young woman, and her name is Kay, and our pronouns are she, her.
Awesome. And then there's Ryan.
Hello, I'm Ryan. I used to be an entomologist, but lately I don't feel like I identify with that anymore. I don't know what I am. I have a PhD in entomology. My day job is working doing plant healthcare in medical marijuana in Pennsylvania. And when I'm not at work, I spend most of my time gardening around my house, doing sustainable native landscaping. And I have currently over 160 species of native Southwest Pennsylvania plants. And I just added Eastern prickly pear this weekend. So very excited to see how they do. And in our game, I play Fletcher, the human wizard.
I saw your prickly pear picture and was just so excited.
I like that it just looks like a prickly pear pad just on the ground. So you're just kind of chucked it out there.
That is all it is.
I know, I love it.
Yeah,
It's great.
The pads root so readily. Like if a plant breaks in the wild, that just clones and grows a new plant. It's like all I did was amend the soil with a lot of sand to get it to drain really well. Since Pittsburgh's all clay, and just put them on the ground.
Cool. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Yeah. And then there's Cindy.
Hey, I'm Cindy, she, her. I'm a science enthusiast, and I play an Andorian engineer over on Heroes of Awesome Constellation on the Weirdlings Twitch and YouTube channels. But here, I'm playing Nautia, the water method druid.
Hey, everybody's all back together again. Yay! All right, if you are watching us live right now, thanks so much for being here. We love seeing you hang out in the chat with us. As always, if you have any questions for the cast, you know you can put them there. And of course, be sure to check out the reference section below for the social media handles for everybody on Nature Check, and you can come hang out with us on our Discord if you haven't joined that yet. Don't forget, if you're not able to watch us live or you want to share us with your friends, you can find the sessions for our TRPG games in video form on our YouTube channel and in podcast form everywhere. And if you look down in the reference section, you'll see that I've updated it with our fall streaming schedule and that there's something happening on October 17th. That day will be our 50th episode of Arda. So to celebrate, we are going to have a marathon event over the course of the day featuring some old friends of the show and some new special guests. So stay tuned for more details on that as I organize everything. Alrighty, let's do this. Where do we even begin? Your bodies, minds, and hearts are so tired. You've been journeying for weeks through the wilds of Arda in search of a solution to the problem of pollution in the river. You found the source and fought the man creating it, but in the process, you paid the steep price of Cedric's life. Frustrated and grieving, you made it to the mountains, where a chance encounter brought you to another temple. When you entered a door marked Recall, Cedric heard you on the other side, and you worked together to open a path for him to return to you. It is now morning on Telosum, the 11th day of Brightrun, and you are all sleeping in. Cedric is snoring loudly in the dormitory, and the other 3 are asleep on mattresses just outside the door. The interior of the temple is still dark because of the shrubs blocking the doorway, but some of you may begin to notice some sounds of morning, like the calls of birds and insects. Who would be the first one of you to wake up?
Probably me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still sort of agitated and worried about everything.
Mm-hmm. So as you wake up, it's dark in here. I don't think you guys had set a fire specifically. So you can still hear the sounds of your other 3 friends asleep and sort of the beginning sounds of morning outside. Are you doing anything or just waiting for the rest of them to wake up?
Sort of doing a circuit around like the inside of the complex just to make sure nothing weird is happening, and then sort of step out and take a look around outside.
Okay. So as a reminder, this temple is arranged a little differently. Actually, they all have different floor plans, but this one has this big square central room with a bit of furniture and like carpeting and stuff, and that's where you all were sleeping. And you were in front of the room or the door that says dwelling, which goes back to like a dormitory and a kitchen and, you know, like the domestic sort of side of things. There's also a door marked recall that you went through. There's a door marked worship, and then there's a door marked training. And you had poked your head into training briefly last time and discovered that it was a classroom with a bunch of like notes and paraphernalia and desks and things in it. But everything seems to be the way you left it last night before you went to sleep. So you're pushing your way through the bushes out into the morning? Yeah. So you make your way back through the juniper bushes and stand sort of on that narrow path. Again, you're in the mountains. So it's a little cooler up here and a little less dry than it was down in the desert. So it's just, yeah, it's a nice morning. It feels quite a bit more pleasant than it did waking up in the desert.
Yeah. Yeah, and if everything looks okay, then I'm probably just kind of hanging out there at the entrance, enjoying the morning.
Nice. How about everybody else?
I have a question about where we went through the recall door, and just in terms of, I don't think we addressed it specifically, but in terms of like time.
Yeah.
Because we went to a different plane. So did we emerge, you know, basically at the same moment we went in, or was it like, it felt like we were in there for only a little bit of time, but it's a week later? Was there any like time dilation, or was it like we were in there for an hour and we just came out an hour later? Like, was there anything weird with time that happened?
I was about to say that you wouldn't have anything that would have told you the difference, but you did actually, because you had a corpse in a wagon and it was no more decomposed than it had been when you went through the door.
Cedric is now a clock. Thanks.
I'm helpful even when I'm dead.
Yeah, wow, look at that. Impressive.
I mean, more helpful than you've ever been alive, so.
I can go back to being dead if you want.
Wow.
Like one fireball away right now, I'm pretty sure.
Cedric wakes up and trips off the mountain.
Well, if I remember correctly, Nautia pumped a bunch of healing stuff into you, and everybody gets hit points back while they sleep, too. So
Yeah, I think we did a couple of the healing potions out of Cedric's bag, so you can tell us what potions were in there, and I guess we could roll for it if you really want.
Okay. I have so many healing potions.
I know!
I died rather than use those potions,
Yeah.
and then you guys just go and waste them. Cedric is me in every video game RPG ever. I'm just like, I should just save all the potions ever, die over and over and over again.
A dozen potions.
I'll need these later. Yeah, this potion of frost resistance, I definitely am just going to need to carry it around with me for the entire game.
I mean, we haven't
strategy
needed it in the
hearts.
desert.
I guess Kay would wake up and immediately check on Cedric.
Okay, so you're
I'd
like,
probably wake him up and be like, "Are you still breathing?"
Okay, you go into the room Cedric's in, and he's like sprawled out, like in an uncomfortable looking position. You know, like maybe like I think like one of his legs is like hanging off the bed onto the floor, and like the sheets are like on the floor. He just looks incredibly bedraggled and is still like snoring max volume. Drool like all over side of his face. His just like beard is super in disarray.
uh Kay like walks over and like gingerly like picks up his hand and like puts it in a more comfortable position and like puts the sheet back on him and like walks out, I guess.
Oh. He goes and then goes back to snoring.
If he like rolled off his pillow or whatever, she like tried to like not get drool on her, but also like get him back on his pillow.
adorable. What now?
And I guess goes back out, goes like outside. I mean, we're just gonna wait for Cedric to wake up eventually, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, Fletcher probably would be the last person to wake up. But probably around the same sort of time. He would have woke up and like heard that and like or seen Kay like disappear into the room and being like, "Oh, please don't tell me that she's going to try to wake him up when he was just dead." Like just thinking of how poorly that could go. And I'm very pleased when she just walks back out. Just let him sleep as much as he wants to sleep.
He looked pretty uncomfortable, just saying. Like, he almost looked dead again, except that he was somehow drooling and snoring. I didn't know that was possible, but it is, apparently. So, yeah.
I would say another hour goes by before Cedric wakes up. So like you guys hear the snoring stop. And then like 5 minutes later, the door like slowly opens and Cedric is leaning in the doorway, like kind of propping himself up on the door. And he like, opens one eye and looks at you guys. It's like, oh, wow.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That sounds accurate. Do you guys have anything to like drink in here?
Nautia literally makes water, so
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I'll
Yeah, we have
lay
water.
out the water skins and I'll create water.
Yeah, okay, that sounds
I can
that
do
sounds good.
that.
That's a good start, I guess. I feel very, very hungover.
Well, you died.
It feels like that, yeah.
You actually died.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were very dead.
It's true, you were very dead.
Okay. That's a lot to process. First thing.
Good
why-
morning?
I guess.
Yeah,
If I'm-
let's leave it at that for now and just ask, what else do you need right now, Cedric?
I think just water. Water sounds like a good start. If you
Are you
guys don't have
hungry?
anything stronger. No.
Okay.
I definitely do not want to eat anything right now. That sounds. Yep. Nope.
Nope. All right. No,
Nope.
the exit to the is that way if you need to,
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Dashes out to the beautiful view that Nautia was just like taking in and just like,
Picturesque mountainside.
pukes off the edge of the mountain.
You may or may not notice while you're out there that you're not in the desert anymore.
I don't think he notices at all.
Okay.
And like as soon as he's done, he like comes back inside because it's way too bright out there. It's like, oh man, yeah.
You, Do you want to go back to sleep?
No, no, I'm good. Yeah, I sleeping feels weird right now. So just the water, maybe just sitting here with my eyes closed sounds real perfect right now. Why am I not dead anymore if I was dead?
Oh, we went through this magical door that said recall, and like we remembered you a lot, and then we went into this other room with all your stuff, and then we like literally brought you back.
Sounds like something we would do.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We, the guy that killed you sort of showed us how to get here, but then he ran off. So we're gonna have to deal with that at some point, I guess. But
That's for tomorrow.
that can be a later. Yeah.
Yeah, we should find him and kill him back.
What? He did enough damage to you and you want to go back? I don't know how many more magical recall doors there are.
I mean,
if
sure.
we can, we know what to expect this time, but yeah. But we kind of left we kind of left that mess in the cave with the river, so
So the cave was real?
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I remember the cave.
There was another dwarf, but he could turn into things
He could turn into things. I don't remember that at all.
like animals.
I remember like a dragon. I remember like a little dragon.
I don't know. I was still asleep. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, I was also asleep.
There was
You were asleep when I
Yes.
died?
Yeah, I think you left us.
Yeah, something in the cave made us fall asleep. And then I guess you couldn't wake us up.
That sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, I remember you guys not being there. I remember the cave, the really big cave that went on forever.
No, that cave wasn't very big.
And then the
I
mist.
mean, like there was a river there, so it was kind of long. It was a mine.
I don't remember the river. I remember the
There-
pools. There were the pools.
Oh,
The glowing
just
pools.
river. No, just a river with bad things in it.
No, there was like one pool because I like stepped in one, remember? And then like weird stuff happened. I like felt
Oh,
kind of
those
wonky.
puddles. Yeah, those
Yeah.
yucky puddles.
Yeah, the yucky puddles.
Oh man, it all feels like a weird dream. Like Fletcher, I remember you were there, but I couldn't see you, but I knew you were there.
the dwarf used a lot of spells to obscure and confuse,
Right. But he
and
was
I think
a cleric, right? He was a fellow cleric of Moradin. Is that right?
No. He was
from our interactions
not.
with him, he basically only believed in and followed himself. He was not into more.
he tried to tell us that like he could do rights for you, but that seemed really sketchy.
It seemed really sketchy. And then he was like, oh, yes, well, I'll help you bring Cedric to the
He
people.
said a lot of things.
And I was like, I don't trust this kid. We should kill him right now. But when we trusted him and then he poof turned into something and flew away or slithered away or like otherwise disappeared.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I mean,
he's-
I wouldn't have trusted somebody who murdered you guys. So good call there, I guess. So we're in a temple now.
Yeah, we were led here by bird people.
Bird people. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know if that makes I mean, out of all the things we've told you today, I don't know which makes the least amount of sense. But here we are. We were led to this magical temple by bird people, and they were like, this recall door we've never been able to go through. So we went through the recall door and then we brought you back.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I was dead. I don't remember.
What is the last thing that you do remember?
Well, it just gets all blurry, you know? Like, I remember bits and pieces. Like, I remember going through the stone teeth with you guys, or the jaws of death, or whatever. And then I remember finding the entrance to the mine, and then everything gets really kind of chunky, just real bits and pieces. I remember, I remember there were other dwarves, but I can't picture any of their faces. And I remember talking to them.
There was just the one in the mine. Did you see something after you died?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess. Um, yeah, there were definitely other dwarves there. But I don't remember seeing. Yeah, and the glowing green pools and the broken staircase. And I remember, you guys know, well, none of you guys went to, well, Fletcher, you went to school. Have you ever had that dream where like you forget that you signed up for like advanced metallurgy and then you have to take the final exam for advanced metallurgy or they won't let you graduate? Do you have those dreams?
Yeah, but for me, I mean, it was alchemy, but similar.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. It was like that. I felt like there was like a quiz or something that I was very unprepared for, and so that was really stressful. I remember that, but I feel like that's just kind of a normal dream thing that happens, you know? So maybe that was just a dream, but the other stuff felt real. The pillar or the staircase, the broken staircase. I can picture that. There was a staircase in the bottom of a cave with a spiral stair wrapping around a stone column, and it was broken. And I remember that. That's all I remember.
So Cedric, I know we're giving you a lot of information and asking a lot of you right now, but I think it might be better now for you to maybe take some time to collect your thoughts, maybe write things down, and we can help you piece together what happened with us and what may have happened after you left us. I don't want you to strain yourself too hard right now. You just came back to us, and what you went through is an experience not many people have gone through.
Are you guys sure I was dead and I wasn't just like unconscious for a while?
Yeah, because you always snore when you're unconscious or sleeping, but you were not snoring.
He hurt you really badly. You were really like, if you like your armor and
yeah, where is my armor?
Yeah, that's a question, isn't it?
He hurt you a lot.
Okay. I mean, you guys seem to be a lot more like up on what's been going on than I currently feel. So I'm going to take you guys at your word.
So like if he looks at himself, he can see that like what's left of his clothing and gear is just in tatters, right?
Hey, yep. Cedric, do this. And look at your shirt. It's worse than the first time I met you when it was covered in blood.
Yes, it is terrible. That
literally
is good observation. Very accurate. So my armor is gone. Oh man, that was good armor.
We can probably get you more.
I mean, not dwarven craftsmanship out here.
Well, Dwarven's craftsmanship did you crap, apparently. So you're just going to have to deal with whatever we can get you.
Okay. That's a later problem. I agree with what Fletcher said.
Let's
I'm gonna
not
need
yell at the recently undead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What Fletcher
Sorry,
said.
okay. It was just really stressful because like we went underground and we weren't supposed to lose anyone again, and then we lost someone again, and now you're back. Okay, I'm sorry. I know this is about you. I'm trying. I'm sorry. And she just like storms out.
Still
Kay
okay.
has had the worst month.
I mean, she didn't die at least.
You mean worst years? Decade? I don't know how long it's been by now.
It's been like 100 years.
I'm gonna kind of like look around the room, and the words on the doors are all in Celestial, right?
They're in common.
Oh, they're in common.
Yeah.
Can I? I'm gonna need a minute, guys, and I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna walk into the door marked worship.
Okay. So you open that door, and inside is a square room with beautiful bas-relief carvings on all of the walls and the ceiling of plants and animals and mountain peaks. And on the floor, there are 4 low stone pedestals and a very familiar swooping design.
I'm gonna
I
walk
hate
in.
this game.
I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna sit down on one of the pedestals and just put my head in my hands and just be for a little bit. Occasionally, kind of like looking at my hands, kind of stretching and flexing them.
Fletcher turns to Nautia and Kay, and it's just like, why don't we head out down to the village and just see if there's anything we can find to make Cedric a little more comfortable and also
maybe?
just give him some more room and quiet right now.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Kay had stomped out to the outside. So you can pick her up on the way out, I guess.
Yeah, we go outside and find you.
You don't even say anything. You just like take her by the hand and just drag her.
Because we're not too far out from the rest of the village, right?
Yeah. So Sue and Braga had taken you on a winding, narrow path that sort of like hugged the mountainside. So you're sort of elevationally like above and a distance away from. So it was both. It was on an angle, right? So you're both up and away from the village, but like there's only the one path, so it's not like you're not going to be able to find your way back to the village easily.
I rip a piece of paper out of the back of my journal real quick and just quickly write a little note that I like leave like in the doorway. So if Cedric comes out and we're not back, he doesn't think he's like abandoned or still dead and this is some kind of nightmare or something horrible. That just says like,
Fletcher.
we're down in the village, like we're in the village, we will be right back.
I was totally gonna play that out. I'm so bummed that you thought of that. It's totally gonna come out and be like, guys.
I mean, we're still assuming he's going to find the note.
That's true.
You're bummed that he was conscientious?
Yes.
Fletcher sacrificed a notebook paper for you. That's like the ultimate
Story.
sacrifice.
I'm deeply touched. Cedric is deeply touched. Peter is annoyed.
All right, so you go back down to the village. And similar to when you first arrived in Asia, kind of had to like point everything out to you. Like this place is just really well camouflaged, right? Like all of the structures that are outside are set up in such a way that it's difficult for you to see them unless you knew what you were looking for. But again, every once in a while you see someone come out of one of these sort of like doorways in the rock walls. So like you know that you made it back to the right place.
Oh, guys, maybe we should get Cedric some armor. Or like, maybe he should pick it out himself. Maybe we should get him like a certificate that says that we got him armor, but he gets to pick it himself.
A gift certificate?
Like a gift card. Like an armor gift card.
I think it would be good to let him pick out his own armor, but maybe we can find just a nice new shirt. He spent so long getting those shirts made. He spent
so much
and
time.
I know we can't replace it exactly
remember?
how he wants it, but if we could just find something so he can feel better.
Yeah, and I don't remember, did he like copper buttons better or iron buttons better? Or maybe it was brass buttons? Were the buttons on the collar and the sleeves or just on the collar?
Was it 3 of each metal?
Maybe it was all of them. Maybe we can get him a shirt with each kind of button, and then he could just pick, and he'll have some spares.
If you got him a shirt
next time
covered in buttons, it would be armor.
Let's do that. Let's get him a button shirt.
He can pick the one he likes, and then we can roleplay going back to bird person customer service to return the shirts he doesn't want.
Can we get a gift receipt?
So you are in the village. What would you like to do?
Find breakfast, please.
Okay. So are you, like I said, like every once in a while someone comes out. Are you waiting to see one of the, I guess, 4 people that you recognize from this village? Are you asking a random person? Are you just walking into a doorway?
So I guess there's not going to be like sort of a open sort of marketplace thing because everything's hidden.
Yeah, at least not right now. You don't see. There aren't. Like,
hey, knocks on a random door.
You knock on a random door.
I was going to try to remember where we saw people that we had talked to and try to find those places.
Yeah, we see all the little slots in the like canyon. I was gonna ask somebody who walked by, but Kay is apparently going right up to.
Yeah. I feel like Fletcher and Nautia are definitely trying to do the like responsible. Let's find someone and talk to them, but Kay's just doing Kay.
Okay.
Just banging on doors.
So you knock on a door, and you hear like, "Huh? What's that?" From the other side.
Hi, friend. Me and my friends who are traveling from very far away are hungry. Is there a breakfast place nearby? Like, you can come out if you want, but if you feel more comfortable shouting from your furniture, that's fine. Is it like up the street a little bit to the left?
As you're doing this, the door sort of like jerks open, and you see, again, all of these people are very tall and slender, but this is an older man. He doesn't have any sort of like dye on his wings. He's wearing simple clothing like everybody else, and he just sort of like stares down at you and is like, "You're looking for food?"
Yeah.
He sort of like reevaluates who he's looking at and is like, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
I'm so sorry.
We got like brought in by, actually I don't remember their name anymore. They look very cool.
We came in yesterday. We met. Cindy does not remember the name. Nautia would remember it.
Who are you?
I'm trying to pull up my notes. Don't make this delay in game. I didn't have my notes open.
Yeah. No, who are you talking about? The person who brought you to the village or the people who took you to the temple?
The people who brought us to the village.
So Ija is the one that brought you to the village. She introduced herself as Ija Raintail.
Yeah, so Ija, she is super cool, has like super cool patterns on her feather things. Anyway, whatever. So we're here.
Oh.
And
he looks at you again, Nautia, and is like, "Oh, it's you."
I'm so sorry.
Well, I guess it's good that you made it here in one piece.
Thanks. It's so nice to meet you, by the way.
You need food?
Please?
We were trying to find somewhere that we could,
I have some to spare if you need.
Food. Okay. We can trade for it if you need anything.
That would be fair.
Okay.
Kay, like, pulls out like a handful of gold, I guess.
Okay. Or is Nautia looking for something to barter?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even remember what I have anymore because I haven't had to do anything with it. I think I have some gold, and I surely do not know where I wrote that down if I did.
Well, so I have. I mean, I keep track of the group gold.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the people that we've run into, most of them have taken money. Like it's still like a universal thing that when they encounter one another, they use. So we should be able to just use our group money.
Yeah.
We have plenty.
Yeah. Basically, like Kay would go like pull out like a handful of like actual currency, and I would have like basically the equivalent of like some copper, some silver, maybe, and then like pebbles and acorns and stuff. And I just kind of
like a 6-year-old.
How much do you need?
Enough for us? Should we bring Cedric back breakfast even though he doesn't feel well?
We should bring him back some too. We can stock up later, but just some for right now would be a good idea, I think.
Or breakfasts?
Well, and he sort of like backs up from the doorway for a moment and comes back and he says, well, what I can spare right now is this. And he has like a groundhog basically. I do a lot of the hunting for the clan, so this is what I have to spare right now. If you want something that's not this, there are lots of different edible plants in the region.
This looks great. I think Cedric would really like a dead groundhog.
Kind of like a rat.
You can put a bow
right?
on it.
It looks... Yes, it's kind of like a rat, and it's kind of like you could probably make jerky out of it or something.
We'll just tell him it's a regional species of extraordinarily
big
large rat.
Yes, it's
and
a big rat.
He'll go crazy for it.
You're not wrong.
I'm assuming sort of the plant life that we've seen is not stuff that I'm familiar with, right?
Yeah, not for the most part. I mean, like, again, like, similar shapes of plants happen all over the place, but you're not familiar with these particular species.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I guess we can just...
Well, we have plenty of coin to spare. And we're glad to pay you whatever you need for this.
Nautia, did you say you had like a handful of like a few coins and some rocks and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, he takes a single silver piece out of your hand and is like, that's enough.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You made an impression on my daughter, so I'm glad you're safe and well.
Aw, thanks, friend. That means a lot. Well, have a good day, sir.
You as well. And he goes back inside.
Where do we want to go? So we have food. Do we want to find anywhere like else? Do we want to try to buy him a shirt?
Okay, like we got like a full not cooked groundhog, or we got a cooked groundhog.
It's like a groundhog, like skin on it and everything.
Can we like Kay's like holding it, she's like, can we like get like prepared breakfast? Like maybe some eggs? Or is that offensive? Do you think bird people are offended if we eat eggs? Probably.
Might be weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can prepare it.
We can cook this. We've cooked lots of things.
Oh, I'm so hungry. I just want food now. Okay, fine.
We do still have some bits of other
things.
Foods. We do have like the old jerky and like that stuff. So I guess, yeah, so do we want to go anywhere else right now or find a place to set up a fire and cook this? Probably far enough away from the temple that the smell doesn't go in because it sounded like it will make Cedric vomit.
Yeah.
Let's get a shirt.
I'm going to kind of fly out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
sort of just sort of survey the area and see if there's sort of a nice sort of sheltered spot that's not in the village and not in the temple.
Okay, make a perception check.
All right. My dice luck is still holding. That's a natural one.
Oh, good. So you don't see a spot. Again, it's like you keep getting shunted from ecosystem to ecosystem, so you're having a little trouble reading this mountainous landscape and the vegetation. However, this would be incredibly difficult for you to miss. As you sort of take off into the air, you realize that there's one of these villagers who you don't recognize, a young woman just sort of standing quietly and watching you at a bit of a distance.
If I see her, then I would kind of wave hi and then maybe sort of fly back sort of close-ish to her. Like, try not to look threatening. Hi.
Hello. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but notice you seemed like you were having trouble.
We're just, it's been a few days.
My parents told me. Is there anything I can do to help you?
We got our friend back and now we're just trying to make breakfast happen, honestly. Yeah. Not quite sure what we're gonna do next.
Do you need some place to cook that? And
yeah.
she sort of indicates the groundhog.
Yeah. Figured maybe not in the temple, because that seems maybe a little insensitive.
Oh, I appreciate that. Would you like to come and use my fire?
That would be great.
So she sort of like beckons for you to follow her.
Wave the others over
to one of these little alcoves, and they all, basically she has her fire set up in such a way that like the smoke can leave through the doorway easily. But she introduces herself as Petra Smoke Eyes, and she is Sue and Braga's daughter, and this is her home, and she sort of gives you implements that you might need to skin and cook this thing. And she says, do you need the skin?
I don't think so.
If you wouldn't mind, then I can take it in my husband can use it in his craft.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do it. Yes.
Thank you.
That's far from what we should give you for helping us out this morning.
No need. I'm happy to help. So
we're also hoping to find. Sounds like this may be similar to what you mentioned your husband does. We're hoping to find someone along the lines of a tailor who may work with fabrics and can create something new for our friend up in the temple who we came here for.
Oh, well, if you're looking for clothing, I guess, then you would want to talk to Tora and Lil. My husband doesn't make clothes, he makes armor.
Well, we may be coming back for that as well.
Oh. But
where can we find them in the village?
So she sort of moves back to the doorway and points like sort of on the opposite side of this sort of like common area and a few doorways down. Lil and Tora live in there. They're usually in there working, although I suppose Tora might not always be in there. She likes to visit with everyone.
That sounds great. And I guess we can sort of eat and then maybe try to go meet them.
So we just chit chat over our whistle pig crackling on the fire.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Amazing.
It lives in the mountains. It should be like a mountain guinea pig.
Are you chit-chatting amongst yourselves? Would you like to ask Petra anything?
I mean, it's probably idle chit-chat with her since she's helping us do this. Just to pass the time until we're done.
Why do some of you have like cool stripes on your wings, and how come some of you do not?
Oh, well, some of the coloration is just based on a person's age, so you'll notice that the tips of my parents' feathers are black. That just happens as we age. Some people choose to dye designs into their white feathers. It's just a personal fashion choice.
That's awesome. Kay is like blabbering about cool designs that she would do if she had wings.
For sure. And she also mentions, if you hadn't noticed before, that all of the female Raptorans have a bit of like a feather ruff on their necks that the males do not. None of them have chosen to dye those feathers, but she suggests that since you're thinking of designs, you could think about styling those as well.
I like her. She's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess sort of once we've eaten,
Mm-hmm.
maybe ask her to point us toward. I guess we start with Torlo.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, once we finish and pack up whatever we have, what we're gonna take to Cedric, we'd probably say our thank you and goodbyes and head over.
Don't be afraid to stop back if you need any help.
Thank you so much, friend.
And then you're heading to Lil and Tora's place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are knocking on the door, I guess, or the door is sort of open to let air flow through, so you can sort of knock on the side of it, I guess, if you want.
Kay like sticks her head in. Hello.
So again, like I said, all of these people are very tall and lithe or slender, but this person is seated at a loom of sorts, and it's a middle-aged woman, again with undyed wing feathers, and she turns her head to look at you as you stick your head in the door. Hello?
Hi. We're looking for a shirt for our friend because as much as we don't like looking at him with his shirt on, he is much worse without a shirt, which is where he currently is. So we need a shirt for him. Please.
All right.
We were pointed in this direction.
Do you want to say something, Peter?
Yeah, I just want to interrupt. Cedric, back in the temple, currently has taken off the tattered remains of his shirt and is standing shirtless and like poking himself, looking at scars and things like that.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the record, he looks great with his shirt off. Very, very well muscled body, very thickly built, heavy boned.
We'll work on your calendar later. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this woman sort of gets up from where she was seated at the loom and walks over to, there's like a shelf type structure, and pulls a stack of shirts basically off of this and says, I have shirts if that's what you're looking for.
Do any of them have metal buttons?
No.
Size are these shirts?
If you take one and look at it, it's sized for these people. Very long, very slender.
Kay like holds one up to her and she's like, well, I mean, if we just get this, we like basically get him a shirt and pants all in one, right? So.
And slender.
I think we need one of these in about a third of the length and 3 times as wide.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's kind of a box.
He's not wrong. He's like Nadia's height. She like gestures over to Nadia, but like much more.
Nadia's just silently like miming, like he's actually like a good bit taller than me, and he's like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, no, a bit bigger than that, but
yeah.
Okay. I have some cloth that I haven't made into anything yet. I can make something like that if that's what you need.
That would be amazing. Could you put metal buttons on it?
I don't have metal buttons. I have wood.
Do you think Cedric would like wood? Do you have like
That
bones?
will be fine.
Maybe bones wouldn't be good.
I think
Whatever
wood is
you normally
good.
use is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very particular about his shirts, but he doesn't take very good care of them despite being particular about them.
Okay.
I feel like nothing that has ever happened to his shirt has ever been his fault. So I don't know how we can say he doesn't take care of them.
That's so true. Oh my
He
goodness.
just died, and she's just
Yeah, he cannot catch even a moment's break after
Not
being
a
dead.
second.
She's mad at him for dying, obviously.
He died and got
Obviously.
blood all over it. It was so rude, so
How
careless.
rude.
dare
He like tore his shirt up. He could have just like not died, I guess. Whatever. Then he could have been here picking out his own stupid shirt.
He could have woken you up, and then maybe there wouldn't be.
He
blood
could have
on his
woken
shirt, and he
us
wouldn't have
up.
been dead.
He
Anyway.
could have healed himself.
Oh, that too. Peter's feeling so abused.
Kay is angry that he died and doesn't know how to express the amount of emotions that she is feeling. Okay, we're working on it.
That is
Valid.
extremely fair
Very
and valid.
valid.
Yes.
So
Teen feelings.
she says, I didn't know there were other people in the village, but yes, I can make this for you. Give me a few hours, and then you can come back.
Oh,
and
a
it should
few
be done.
hours?
To
That's
make sure.
amazing.
I mean,
We're more than happy to pay, since this is a custom
Mm-hmm,
custom shirt for a person who is built the opposite of your people.
that's fine. Thank you.
Kay is like looking at the loom and is like, only a few hours?
Oh, I already have some fabric made. I'm not going to make it out of that piece, but
Oh, I see.
yes.
That makes sense.
I'm Lil, by the way, in case you need anything else.
Hi, Lil. I'm Kay. That's Nautia. That's Fletcher. And this shirt is going to our friend Cedric.
Those are interesting names. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Maybe we should get him pants. Do you think he needs pants?
Like everything was pretty torn up, right?
Yeah, like he got like acid spilt on him
He
in the
did
armor.
get
It
his
was, like-
ankles bitten by the crocodile, so
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
We
that
never talk
crocodile.
about his pants.
We didn't. What color pants does Cedric wear?
black.
They're black. Black
All right,
pants,
can
white
we
shirt.
also get a pair of black pants shaped very similarly to the square shirt and also small?
Oh, you want something dyed? Because everything she showed you is sort of in just like natural textile colors.
You know what? That looks great.
Yeah, whatever the darkest fabric you already have would be completely fine.
Okay. Yes, I can try to make something like that.
Thank you so much. We'll leave you alone to work and be back in a while.
Fair enough.
Thanks, friend.
Go outside.
Okay. You go outside.
Cut back to Cedric up in the temple with his pocket knife, turning his pants into cutoffs, like
Yeah.
cutting the tattered bottoms off of his
Dad
pants.
in the 80s.
Yes.
Oh, what kind of fantasy technology would we need to make these into those zip-off pants into shorts?
So many buttons.
Buttons,
So
yeah,
many.
just buttons.
Or a lot of grommets and some string, and you have to like thread it through
Yeah.
every time.
I mean, that's only slightly more inconvenient than the actual zipper
Yeah.
pants.
Are you guys actually?
And a
going...
lot of voice buttons would be more convenient than the zipper.
Hmm.
I mean, you'd still have a lot of ventilation.
And buttons get caught on stuff. Are you actually going back to the temple to see him doing this, or are you doing something else?
Should we look at that? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, do we want to wait so we go back to him with
Mhm.
the shirt and pants?
Yeah.
Or
We
do
should bring him
think
back
that,
a present. What a great day for Cedric. New clothes and new dead animal. That's like his favorite things.
and alive. I think he loves being alive too.
Probably. I mean, I don't think he's come to terms with the fact that he wasn't alive. So maybe, I don't know.
Do we want to leave him alone for that long, though? Because she said hours.
I mean, how long does it take you to come to terms with your death? Like, how long does he normally pray in the morning? I'm sure it's like
maybe
10
like
years.
check in at least a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I think we should go back and hang out outside of the front of the temple, so we're there. And in a couple hours, if he still needs more time, one of us can come pick everything up.
Oh, that's
that way
a good
we're
idea.
not leaving him alone for so
That's
long.
a good idea. I'll pick up the stuff.
Okay.
So we'll hike back.
Okay. So you hike back to the temple. Are you going in to check on him, or are you just going to hang out front?
I feel like right now we still need to like leave him to his time.
I would
feel
sort of peek in, like sort of quietly. Just
Yeah,
sort
'cause
of
he's
make
in
sure
the
he's still
worship.
there.
Yeah, are you still in the worship room, or are you in the main room, or like would she see you or hear
So-
you, or?
Actually, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you would hear me. I am still in the worship room. You trying to be stealthy?
Yes.
All right, stealth opposed with perception, I guess. Sure. Somebody
I feel
wanted
like-
to roll dice this evening. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's a good thing my stealth is super high because that's a 13.
Cedric, as you peer in through the door, Cedric turns around. He kind of fingers in his mouth. And he goes, "Oh, hey, sorry." And he's not wearing a shirt, and he's wearing cutoffs. Hey, I didn't hear you guys come back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. Just wanted to see if you were still here and okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I still have like a really terrible headache, but I feel a lot better now.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some food if you want it out there. Or I guess we could bring it to you if you want. I don't know.
No, I'm good in here. Did you guys see this is another like temple room?
Oh, it's another.
Yeah, you
That
know.
makes sense.
Yeah, so you guys are outside?
Yeah, if you need
Okay.
anything.
No,
Take your time.
I'm
We're
good.
just-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at a good stopping point.
A stopping point of what?
You're not there. You don't get to ask.
Ryan and I made the same face though.
Like I start to ask why or what, or you get a what before a. Okay.
He's gonna just like walk towards you, and heading out of the temple together.
All right. And I'll just head back to the group.
All right.
And
Yeah, I'll come
sort
with
of
you.
Look at Fletcher and Kay and like it's another one of the temple rooms with the thing.
Interesting. Cedric,
Yeah,
we have a
so-
dead rat for you.
Well, it's not in
Cedric-
that form anymore, but yeah.
Definitely got cooked.
Cedric like
We
walks
have
out and he's
pieces
still
of a
kind of
dead
like
rat
wincing
for
in the
you.
sunlight.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, awesome. That looks great." Yeah.
What's your favorite rat, right?
Yep. That's true.
I have a question because you described what you're wearing or not wearing. Did you like unmuss your beard since it was sort of gross from you sleeping, or is it still kind of drooly?
Like, halfway.
Mm.
Like he didn't have like a mirror or anything like that. And so he just kind of like did the kind of like, you know,
Mhm.
kind of halfway trying to
So
to get it back
You've
into
got that
the right
awkward,
position.
like very sort of fluffed out,
Mhm.
messy hair.
Yeah. It's like he's done kind of a kind of a job getting it back together, but
Okay.
it obviously has not really gone through his morning routine.
Okay.
With his fingers in his mouth and all.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering.
So rat?
Yeah, it's like a really big rat though. It's like a mega rat. But apparently it's still like it still looks like a rat, so I'm guessing it's like maybe the mountain rats are just bigger because like you have to like walk up mountains and stuff, so like obviously bigger muscles or something. But anyway, we brought you cooked dead rat, but
So food.
happy reanimation
Breakfast.
day.
Ooh,
So exciting.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll have to remember that it's today. What day is today? It's fine. How long was I dead? Was it more than a day?
It took us a couple days to get up here, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
A couple of days. Yeah, it was.
But it
It took
wasn't
a
like a
while
whole
to
week
get-
or anything. So like
No.
you look really good for a previously dead person because you could have looked a lot worse for a previously dead person. Am I helping? I don't think I'm helping.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the meanest thing you've ever said to me, I guess. So about this rat, you guys, we want to split it?
Yeah.
Have you eaten?
You know what? We can always eat more
Okay.
to celebrate life and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we're just all standing around kind of awkwardly.
We can all sit down and eat breakfast together.
That sounds like a normal thing that people do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like normal people who weren't recently dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That was so sinister sounding. Why did you say it like that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you
Hey.
hungry at all?
Yep. Yes, I could eat.
Are you okay? Do you?
No,
like,
I
is
was
there
just
something else that
dead.
you
No.
need?
Not okay. I'm gonna get there though. Just
Okay.
yeah.
Can we? Are you hungry? Do you want to actually eat? Do you want more alone time? What do you
No.
need from us?
No, I'm good. I think I'm good. No, yes.
Oh,
Let's
wait.
eat the food.
Okay. And then if you need anything else, like, let us know.
Okay. Cool. I mean, you
Because
guys
this
brought me.
one's new on me. I don't know what to do here. So
Yeah. Same. It was my first time dying,
Mhm.
so I
You're
mean,
like connected to the gods and stuff. Like,
yep. I mean, I guess as much as any of us are, with them, not being around a ton. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I've like read some stuff about people coming back from the dead before, but like,
yeah,
it's
it's
kinda-
supposed to be pretty hard to do.
yeah, you guys did a great job. I mean, big old thumb double. I appreciate it. I know it was probably really hard. What did you guys like? You know what? It's fine. I don't need to know.
Breakfast
But
first, then
I
existential things later, maybe.
yeah, let's eat first. That's
Okay.
a good idea. She like she just like shoves some food in Cedric's face.
Cedric like it's like oh thank and like takes it, like bites into it, and it's like actually sorry, I don't think my stomach is quite settled yet, and just like sets it down on his lap, but thank you. You guys dig in.
He like looks around awkwardly and just shoves a huge piece in her mouth. He's like, oh, it's delicious.
We'll still have some
Oh,
later,
yeah.
and Cedric, think the really important thing for you to remember right now is you don't have to be okay. And it can take you as long as you need to understand anything about what happened. So take as much time and space that you need.
Thank you. Because yes, I'm not okay. And I do not understand a lot. So thank you. Much appreciated. And thank you all again for bringing me back from the dead and for this lovely rat. It was very thoughtful.
Okay,
What-
like, sorry.
No, you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Kay is like chewing her food, but like tears just like are streaming down her face. And she was like, you were God, and then we were supposed to be God. And she just like jumps on him and gives him a huge hug. And is like, I'm just so happy that you're here, and it's okay that you're not okay, and I'm not okay. And none of us are okay because we're sitting in a stupid temple again, and we're eating some dead rat, but I'm just happy that we're all together eating some stupid dumb rat together. And just like cries into your shoulder.
Cedric like slowly wraps his arms around you and like gives you like the biggest bear hug, like pulls you in super, super tight. He's disgusting and shirtless and sweaty and stinky.
I don't think he cares at all.
But it's
she has
just
like snot coming out of her nose. And
and he starts to cry too, and he's just like crying into Kay's shirt.
We had Friendship Day. We can't let you die just after Friendship Day.
Kay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I know that was. I'm so sorry for all of you. I'm so sorry to leave you guys.
Wait, you shouldn't be sorry. You're the one that almost died. Like, it was worse for you.
I think in a lot of ways it was easier for me. I kind of pull back and so I can like look her in the eyes and say, we both lost. All of us have lost people, and I think in a lot of ways it's easier to be lost than to lose someone.
I guess you would know. You're the only one who's had both experiences, I suppose. And she just like face plants into his shoulder and just like sobs like more.
I like put my hand on the back of your head and kind of just like give Fletcher and Nautia like kind of a like, sorry guys, we're doing a thing. Look. But yeah, he's just gonna like keep hugging you like as long as you need.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
She has like all
He's gonna like kind of start petting the back of your head. I guess I'm just gonna say this, like, I think the dying is probably easier than the coming back part. I haven't figured that part out yet, but apparently I was really good at the dying part. That was easy. It was over pretty quick, I think. So, that not very traumatic. It's the not being dead anymore that I think is going to take a while to get used to.
Well, I guess we can get used to it with one of our favorite puzzle temples again.
Yeah, we could maybe wait on that for a little bit longer. Okay, cool. Any ideas? You guys want to set this one on fire again?
Kay is like, she has like snot and tears already. She's like, I'm gonna go, I don't know, like wash up or something, I guess. And like goes like and like walks back out of the as you
go to like walk away, like Cedric reaches out and like grabs your arm and like gives you like a big squeeze, like one more big squeeze as you walk away.
Thanks, friend. I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad you brought me back.
Always. That she like walks out and is like splashes some water on her face, like just sits, I don't know, down and thinks about life, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, it feels very peaceful here. Like it's not silent, but it just feels a little like quieter and gentler than where you were in the desert. So it's a nice place to sit and think.
Nautia has definitely been doing that, just sort of awkward, I don't know what to do with myself, just sort of at a distance, sort of at the back of the entrance of the temple, I think, so she can see both out and in.
Fletcher's just kind of staring down at what he was eating during all of that. In that sort of way when someone is trying to not engage and kind of finishes, and even while all that's still going on, just kind of stood up and kind of walked out to the front of the temple and was looking outside.
If Fletcher and Naughty are over both basically at the front of the temple, like Cedric is, after Kay leaves, he sits for a minute, just kind of composes himself and takes a deep breath, gets up, and like walks back over to Fletcher and Naughty. So, ideas for the temple. Water and fire and did we do earth? Did we do that? Earth?
Yeah, we
sounds
tried
right.
Earth, didn't we?
You tried earth, right?
I have, yeah, because we dug things out and carried them in.
Yeah,
it didn't work though.
You used sand.
We used sand.
Yeah, and I think if
Did
I
that one
remember
work?
correctly, I gave you a bonus against bull rushing or something. It was a stability thing. I know it was some sort of stability thing. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't write it down, which is bad.
So, something else this time. Or do we want to try a new classic? Or try an old classic again, I mean.
I don't know. We tried an experiment at the end of the last one, but it was like after we'd already done it once. But it was Kay was trying to communicate something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that didn't.
I don't remember what we were trying to do.
We were trying to communicate with the gods. I guess we're under the impression that these are beacons to reach to the gods. So what better place to commune with them?
Yeah.
But
like I think we did that after we had done the dirt, so that one had already sort of gone off.
You think we should try it again first this time?
I'm not confident that Nautia would be able to make that suggestion, but that's a thing.
Cedric has said that now. I mean,
I don't know if that is the wisest thing to ask Kay to do right now.
Yeah.
She's already... We've seen how she reacted going through these things and talking about this before, when it wasn't right after bringing a friend back from the dead.
Yeah.
well,
Might
I
be a
mean,
lot to ask of her.
that's a valid point. I don't think it'll surprise either of you to know that I was just in there doing a little bit of praying. Didn't feel especially connected to anybody any more than I have other places. Not like I suddenly got an answer or anything like that. And
When you woke up, you said we were cut off?
Yeah, that's the feeling I have. I mean, I guess that makes sense with all that we know about the loss. The gods, I mean, they didn't abandon us. They're they're separated from us somehow. That I don't remember the details, but I know there's some connection. There was something that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. You guys were I think you were only able to bring me back because I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
That would make some sense because, like, where you're supposed to be is another place, and we can't reach those. Like, I can't go home.
Yeah.
So and you think that these temples might help with that?
I'm wondering if they're like anchor points to reconnect our plane with theirs. Each one pulling it a little closer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we could fix that, that would be. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, I don't think
everything.
good covers it.
I just don't know how any of it works. So if you think that might work, then I think it's worth trying.
I think we have to try. I think if everyone who's dying is trapped and not able to move on like I was,
Just
I
stuck.
mean, yeah, that's the most horrible thing I can imagine. To be separated from Moradin forever, to be unable to move on to the next step.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the way things should be. I mean, I don't know what methods do after they die, but I mean, we're supposed to, either join the, well, it doesn't matter. We're supposed to be reunited with Moradin, at least sometimes temporarily, but that's the next step. That's what the church teaches.
Well, I'm not even supposed to be here, so.
Even if this does nothing, I think we have to try.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel right, just being separated.
Yeah.
It's just been this way so long, I haven't ever really thought about fixing it. That's a lot.
I know, like you figured that the gods would fix it from their end.
If they can't.
Right. Seems like kind of an insurmountable task.
Yeah.
Well, unless it was closed from this side, they may not have access to reopening.
That makes
Someone
sense.
have done that?
Someone or something.
I mean, nothing I know of. I mean,
no, we always learned everything exists by the intricate connection between all the planes, and it's never even really been fathomed before of disconnecting them. Do you think it's enough to do the same thing we've done as what we've done in the other temples? Is that activating them somehow? Perhaps. inching closer to reconnecting the planes.
I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
It's the only time we've really ever even seen anything happen in relation to these places that are supposed to be so connected to these gods.
I guess, maybe we don't try it right away. Sort of see if Kay would be up to trying something.
Tomorrow.
I'm good with waiting till tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We can perhaps decide what we want to use. We're in the mountains. There's certainly a lot of rock. There's the people here have mentioned to us plants with special qualities. If there was one that perhaps they use for dealing with fever or wounds or something that we could forage and use. I think it's a lot better than
some time foraging and sort of learning. Like we could stock up if I could get one of them to show me, sort of what's good.
Yeah, that sounds great.
probably better than just what we usually do and throwing in whatever's at hand.
Yeah, remember when we burned all those books? In retrospect, that seems like a just. Ugh.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I mean they were all ruined
They
though.
were really badly damaged books. Yeah.
Yeah. Still, it
They're
feels
books.
weird.
They were very soggy books.
It's true. They did burn pretty good though. You guys want me to fill this with vomit? Because I feel like I could probably still do that.
Please don't.
Okay. Just thought I'd mention it while we had the opportunity.
No.
Cool. Then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Then he leaves.
So I think so Cedric just walked back out again, I'm guessing between the same bushes he threw up in before.
Yeah.
And so now I think, and Fletcher notices it, I'm like, Kate came outside, but she's not here.
Can Kay be walking back with the clothes in her hands?
I'll actually say that you arrive to pick them up because she did say a little bit of time, so you can arrive and pick it up from her. And she says, "I've just finished. I hope they work out for you." And she hands you a pair of pants and a shirt. Are you gonna take a look at them, or are you just bringing them back?
Yeah, she's gonna take a look at them.
Okay, so like the clothing that the rest of the people in this group seem to be wearing, the shirt is just very simple. So she has just sort of sewn some buttons on the shirt. It's not like it's a button-up shirt. There are just some buttons sewn on the shirt in some she guessed kind of based on your clothing. And then a pair of pants that's basically the again, not pants with I don't know if Cedric's has a button and a zipper, but they're much more simple. Both pieces of clothing are much more simple.
It's drawstring,
kind of, yeah. Except that maybe it's not a drawstring with a big bow, because again, everything these people wear is very simple, almost they're trying to reduce encumbrances or things that could get caught while they're flying. So yeah, these are very simple pieces of clothing.
These look great. Thank you so much for your time. Do you, you know how the people here dye their wings with this? Is there that dye around?
Yes. I have colors of dye. Were you wanted to dye?
Yeah. Can I buy some black dye?
Of course. So between some black dye and the clothing, it'll be 3 silver.
Yeah, Kay hands it over. Cool. Thank you so much. And she folds the clothes back up and is like tries to make them look really. She folds them 8 times to try and get them to look as nice as possible. Do you have a ribbon or a string or something that maybe we
I have some twine if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. And then Kay takes them and does a fancy bow braid thing on it. And has a bucket of dye. I don't know how they sell it.
I mean, it's a little container.
Yeah.
It's a terracotta and then sealed with wax on the top. Yeah.
And has those and starts making her way up the mountain again.
Okay. And you make it back to the group, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Where is everyone? She sticks her head in.
We're all still hanging out right at the entrance to the temple, I think.
Yeah, I think Cedric's done throwing up by now, so we're just kind of standing around at the
Kay has the things behind her back. And so they're not perfect, but the people here, they wear different clothes than you. I tried to ask for metal buttons, but they don't have metal buttons. They don't even really have buttons. So we tried really hard, so they're not perfect, but here's some clothes. And they didn't come in black. I tried to get you black pants, but they couldn't do black pants. So here's white pants, and I got you some black dye. So if you want to dye them black, you could. I know they're not your style, but we tried really hard.
Cedric has a huge grin on his face. He's like, "You guys, oh, you got me clothes.
We got you clothes.
They're perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, I love them." And he's he holds the shirt up. He's looking at it. He's like, "Oh, this is wonderful, you guys. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put it on."
The buttons are not functional.
Yeah.
But they do add to the aesthetic. So we tried.
Yep. It's an aesthetic. I love it. It's great. It's great. What are they bone? Are they bone buttons? That's cool, I guess. That's interesting.
They didn't have metal.
Huh. Interesting. I never thought about making bones out of something that wasn't metal. I guess bone works. Or did I say bones? I mean buttons. Yep.
We can get you a more Cedric styled shirt when we're maybe in a place that wear more Cedric styled things.
Sure. I mean, it would be nice to have a spare, but no, this is perfect, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put it on now. And he is gonna go back into the temple, and put it on, in the dwelling room, and then come back out.
The pants are a little long, and she might have overshot the width of the shirt a little, but they are clothes.
All right, I cuff the pants, to be the right length. And maybe I roll the sleeves up, kind of cuff the sleeves up. I'm kind of picturing it looking like the white people in the 70s who got really into yoga and Buddhist philosophy and things like that, appropriated Indian styles.
Yeah.
I'm imagining kind of that, very flowy, kind of cult leadery looking.
Yeah, everything's
robes.
a little big because she was estimating based on your friend's estimations. Are you cuffing the shirt sleeve high enough to show off your Ibyxian armband, or are you still keeping that covered?
Mm-hmm. No, I think I am.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very different look for Cedric. And he is going to kind of take the time and kind of wet his beard down and kind of get it into shape again, wet his hair down a little bit and kind of try and get it to kind of some semblance of order. Come back out and kind of do a how do I look? Kind of spin around for everybody.
You look great. I like this style. You don't look as rigid and mean, I guess. like school teacher, like, you know what I mean?
Uh,
Not that it was a bad look. This is much more like, hi, I'm like a friendly Cedric, and not like, hi, I'm going to like beat you over the head with a hammer of Moradin.
okay, but I could still do that because see, look, there's so much more room in these clothes. I can move a lot easier.
Yeah,
which
it
is
might
nice.
even be better for like the battle and stuff. You should try it out. It's a good look for you.
Do some battling. Where's my hammer? Is it around
It's
here
there,
somewhere?
isn't it?
I mean, I'm assuming that you put all of his stuff like in the
Yeah,
wagon.
we
so
put it all in the wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the wagon? Oh, cool. I go over and get it out of the wagon. Oh, heck yeah. I do some like swings. I like find a tree stump and I like smash it. Like, yeah, still got it.
And on that, I think we should take our halfway break.
Yup.
Thank you to everyone who's been hanging out in the chat. Thank you for the resubs and the gift subs. You guys are amazing. We love having you. We're gonna take our 10-minute break to refresh refreshments and pet dogs and do whatever else we need. It is we need to do, and then we will be back real soon. Thanks. Hello, we're back. How is everyone? I hope you enjoyed your break. We heard some more disaster stories from Ecuador. I got some chips. It was wonderful. Thank you for the cheer. That's very exciting. Appreciate it. Hi, Nikki. Okay, so where we left off, the group was being adorably gooey in their, like, dealing with their, I don't know, grief / happiness to be reunited, and Cedric got to try on some new clothes and went outside and smashed a stump with his warhammer. And that's where we ended.
I mean, have you ever smashed a stump before? It's very satisfying. It healed 3% of his trauma, like that.
Sounds great. I guess I'd like to go back into the village and find the person who said they could. Wait, did someone say they could show us what was like good to eat, or was it someone else, or was a recommendation to someone else?
So the person that you got the woodchuck from, just said that there were lots of edible plants in the area, and he said that he's a hunter for the group, so that's why he had the animal available.
Okay.
You do know that, I always forget which one of them is which, so I'm gonna look at my notes real quick to make sure. You do remember saying, you do remember Braga saying that like he has a skill set that is similar to yours, Nautia.
Okay. Then I might go seek him out then.
Okay. So you head back down into the village.
Yeah.
And
like let the others know that I'm going if anyone wants to join.
Is anybody going with?
Yeah, I'll come. Yeah. I feel like a walk will
Alright.
do me some good.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
I'm guessing, did we... So Kay's back now, so that means did we fill Kay in on like,
Oh.
hey, we think we want to do this temple that requires you to face all of these things about yourself?
I wasn't gonna.
So you're not saying why you're leaving? Or are you just going?
Well, no, because I'm also want to be able to identify things to find food. Like
Okay.
I legitimately do want to like forage and not just
Forage skills. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay here, guys. I just walked all the way into town and walked all the way back up
Yeah.
that big hill. So I'm gonna like take a nap, I guess. Y'all have fun out there.
Okay, so is it
Yeah.
just Nautia and Cedric heading back into the village? Okay. So Cedric, Nautia leads you down this very narrow path that hugs the mountainside, which you have not journeyed on consciously before. Uh, and now,
All new.
yeah, and now you're sort of able to take in the scenery, and it's nice. It's you're up in.
Oh, look at that bush. That's a cool looking bush.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot more vegetation up here than there was in the desert. It's a bit cooler. It's a bit breezier. It's very nice. And you make it back down into Nautia sort of stops, and you don't really know why at first, because it just looks like sort of open space between two sort of rock faces. But then she points out to you, luckily for you, Braga is actually sitting out and sort of sunning himself on a little ledge kind of up above where the doorways are.
Oh, you guys weren't kidding when you said bird people.
Yeah, so you see an older man with sort of white feathers on his neck and then up over on his head where hair would be on you. They look fairly human besides the feathers on their necks and heads and the wings on their backs. He has arms and legs, no shoes, and his toenails and fingernails are a little claw-like. They're not talons, just little claws. And he is...
Pretty similar to mine, then.
Huh? Yeah, kind of.
Sort of similar to mine, humanoid hands, just with claws.
Yeah. And even though he's sitting, Cedric, you can already tell, this person is freakishly tall.
Yeah. How come everyone, Nautia, am I right? Everyone we run into is, except maybe the Miriam and the goblins, I guess. Seems like most of the people we run into are freakishly tall. Am I right?
I mean, different kinds of people are different sizes.
That's true. It just seems
There's a lot of variety.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, even the humans aren't all the same size. Are dwarves all the same size?
I mean, not the exact same size, but normal height, normal bit of variation. Are all water methods the same size? You're the only I think you're the only water method I've ever met.
We're pretty close. But, there's variation.
I haven't really asked about do all water methods look like you? Can you all fly and stuff?
Yeah, they can all fly. That's
Cool.
methods, all methods fly.
I feel like I knew that.
That's yeah. We all have, I have water, I'm water, but also a creature and can fly. And then there are other kinds that there's smoke and fire methods and just all kinds of, from all the different planes.
Okay. Yep, that sounds familiar. That's cool.
That's just how methods work, I guess.
Sure. That makes sense, I guess. So, is that one of the bird people you guys know? Is that a different one?
Braga?
And he sort of opens his eyes and turns to look
sorry.
down to where you are.
Sorry to disturb you.
No, it's fine. I was just enjoying the warmth of the sun. How can I help you? Oh.
I wave at him.
Hi.
It worked. We got him back.
That's very fortunate. Congratulations.
I'm Cedric.
It's nice to meet you, Cedric. I'm Braga. Nautia, I'm sure Sue will be very interested to hear more about how it worked and what you found beyond that door.
Oh yeah. It was weird, but yeah, we can, yeah. I was wondering, so I'm not familiar with all the plants around here. I was wondering if you could maybe show me what's good to eat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to foraging, but I'm a really long way from the places I know.
I think I can help you with that. You'll have to forgive me for moving slow, but yeah, I can help you.
That's fine.
You wanted to do that now, or?
If it's convenient for you.
Sure. And so Cedric, you watch as this man stands up, and now it's confirmed he is freakishly tall and very slender. And he spreads out two big white wings with some black markings on them from his back and sort of glides down off of this ledge to come stand on the ground with the two of you.
Pretty cool.
Cool, huh?
Yeah. I mean, flying just seems really cool in general.
It is cool.
I mean, I would hate it, but I mean, it seems like it was cool to do.
I'm not as good at it as I used to be, but it is handy to have.
Seems, yeah, super handy.
And so he's gonna lead you sort of out of the village and kind of the opposite way out from the path to the temple, or into a sort of patch of wooded area, I guess. There's a bunch of shrubs and some sort of like midland height trees. And he can show you how to identify several different sort of like herbaceous plants. There are wild leeks growing here and some stuff like that. There are some berry bushes. It's sort of early midsummer, I guess. So yeah, there are some things with fruits on them, but a lot of what he's showing you, you'd be able to harvest is more like vegetative stuff. The trees, there are maple trees here, and he tells you that you can take the seeds, and like the meaty part of the maple seed is something that you can eat. So yeah, he shows you a variety of things that you could forage plant-wise. Was there any specific kind of plant you were interested in him showing you?
No, just literally, I am accustomed to walking around with a bag full of munchies.
Snacks.
My snacks bag is really empty.
I
It's
mean-
mostly rocks.
It's like rocks.
Like that bag, I've got a bag that's got like
Yeah.
the river stones for slinging and maybe some coins and other shinies for trade, but normally there's also just snacks, so I don't have to worry about food.
You gotta be really careful when you pull something out if you want to eat.
Well, like the stuff
You
that's
eat
not
3
edible is
rocks.
a different weight.
I know, I'm just...
For roughage, it's important. Mephits have gizzards, you know.
Oh, do they?
No. Fish-like, not because gizzards are birds, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's actually brings up a really good question, though, because like birds have gizzards because they don't have teeth. Like, does Naughty have teeth?
I think so. Trying to, yeah, I had assumed she had teeth
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
because some fish have teeth.
That is
Mhm.
true.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Not
they're
cheeks, though.
probably.
Cheeks. Cheeks are a mammal thing.
Yeah.
So we can like fish. They like fish and
Mhm.
reptiles even really
Yeah.
don't have teeth.
Yeah,
or
this
don't have
is
cheeks.
This is getting
You can-
back into that area of like if you think too much about the physiology of the water mephit, things start to get real busted.
But that's what we do here.
Yeah. But that's so like okay, so so mammals, because they have cheeks, they can hold food in their mouths and chew in separate locations, which is why we have such modified, like we have like incisors and canines and molars that all do different jobs, right? But like reptiles and fish, which don't hold food in their mouths, they have less specialized teeth, right? They're basically just like cutting or grabbing. So are Nadia's teeth just all the same pointy teeth?
Yeah, does she have
have
a mouthful
piranha
of
teeth?
slightly terrifying little tiny sharp teeth? She may.
Yeah, Nikki just pointed out, she says, I see some pictures of mephits with teeth, and I think I remember this too. Like, again, Nadia's description
Yeah.
was correct. Like, water mephits or any kind of mephit come in a variety of physical appearances, but a lot of them do seem to have sort of like, just like, you know, out of a cartoon, like triangular teeth. Just
Yeah,
everywhere.
because a lot of the illustrations of them are just straight up like they look like little goblins with wings.
Yeah.
Like they're real creepy looking. So I've modified her to
Adorable.
be slightly less terrifying, but yeah.
She's our creepy goblin with wings.
Right.
If you're more like a fish, could you also have a pharyngeal jaw,
Ooh.
where it's a tiny jaw and set of teeth inside your mouth and throat, and
I
but
feel
you
like
can
that would
only
make
use it
sense
when you
for
want to be
example.
real terrifying.
Oh, maybe that helps with the projection of her breath weapon?
Could be. Hmm.
Nice. So I
feel like I
only-
keep modifying my mental image.
Right. I only know of the pharyngeal jaw in like moray eels, right? Are there other fishes that have that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there were.
Yeah, there's like that that shark that the goblin shark that has the like that's a pharyngeal jaw, right? That like
Oh, okay.
everyone not playing right now should look up that goblin shark eating video.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
terrifying.
It's a common feature in cichlids. So that's a very large family of fish that also have them.
Okay. That works.
Sarah wants to know if if she has ears. Or just ear holes.
Oh.
Goblins have ears, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think for
oh,
that, I'd
shoot.
sort of imagine, so maybe not like a traditional like shaped ear, but more of a sort of a finny kind of.
All right, I'm
thing.
looking up a specific reference.
Uh-oh.
Is it the goblin shark video that I said you should
No,
watch?
the super secret. Yeah, they're finny ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just little fins.
Yeah. Yeah, basically because it's sort of little sort of finny ears and then another fin that sort of takes the place of the hair. And I'm thinking, and basically like not full on like beta fish, like the super I have no idea what that type of fin is called, but just the stuff that's like really flowy. But there's some other ones that are, so it's not the ones with the super sharp spines, but a little bit more of a fluid sort of goldfish style
Mohawk.
dorsal fin.
The dorsal.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
fin. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just basically the scaling is such that like it's actually like it bulks out the body a good bit. So it is, she's got a high natural armor, so I've interpreted that as the scales are actually quite bulky for her little bitty frame.
Makes sense to me. Cedric is following along behind you, like as you're like picking stuff and putting it in your pouch. Cedric is picking stuff and eating it.
Like out of the pouch.
No, not out of the pouch.
Okay.
But he's like
Telling me like eating out of my bag.
no. He's
Stick it
not
on the
like
pouch.
it's not like a
Yeah. No, but he's picking up the same stuff that we're picking and eating it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, just like nibbling as we go, kind of
Mhm.
not really being productive, but just kind of like when you go blueberry picking with a child, you know.
Mhm. All right.
Why is your bucket so empty, Aiden?
That's a very specific reference.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a bit of that, sort of stock up, take note of the berry options,
Mhm.
and
They
then
are very delicious.
great.
I had to do one.
Yes.
Peter dies again.
Cedric dies again, yeah.
Peter hates it more than I do, so that makes it funny.
You said last time.
Uh-huh. It's great.
Only collect the berry necessities.
Oh.
All right. So you're just filling up your snack pouch, and then what are the two of you doing now?
I guess just heading back.
Okay. What have the other two of you been doing while they were gone?
Mulling over life's existential crises, I guess.
Cool. Fletcher?
I don't think I even mentioned it to Kay, but Fletcher definitely walked out of the temple and went, like the path back is kind of going off one way. I kind of just went a little bit the other way to kind of be alone, kind of off the path.
Mhm.
Sort of the adrenaline behind bringing Cedric back, trying to get him back, and then actually bringing him back and taking care of him is sort of waning. And especially with what Cedric and Kay talked about in the temple earlier, like apologizing each to one another. Fletcher's thoughts are now turning more to basically that kind of blames the entire situation on himself and how running back and forth and not being able to help anybody during anything that happened is now what is really settling in. So he's kind of went off on my own. Yeah.
So Nautia and Cedric, you make it back up to the bushes that are obscuring the doorway to the temple and don't see anybody.
Oh! Oh, shoot. Is Kay asleep?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're about to sleep. We're
We
good.
didn't see you.
No, it's okay. I wasn't really asleep. I was just, well, you know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't know where Fletcher is, though. I think I heard him leave, but I also didn't ask.
I'll stick my head out and look around and see if I can spot Fletcher.
Okay. Fletcher,
You know, he's probably like collecting flowers or samples or something like that.
did you try
Just
to
for-
hide, or are you just sort of off a distance?
No, not really hiding, but yeah, off a distance, not on the path. Yeah, but I mean, I went and like sat down, so if there's shrubs and stuff around me, it might not necessarily be easy to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, perception.
Yeah, sure. Let's try it.
She was like, I'm ready.
She was decidedly
Another
not ready.
Another
one!
one.
Oh, I feel
Oh,
your I'm
bag.
so
I
sorry.
told you. I pulled out the bag today, and I was like, I just don't trust any of these dice.
It's time to buy new ones.
The most irrational thing.
I sympathize very much. I rolled 2 1s in a row last night. But I'm going to use the wild magic surge that Andrew redeemed all of his channel points for. And I
Amazing.
rolled a 30, which means you are going to teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space of my choice. And so you sort of like, because you rolled, you look around and then all of a sudden, and you appear right next to Fletcher on the
Whoa.
ground.
Hi. How?
How did you just do that?
I just tried to. I stepped outside and I started looking for you, and then I was here. Where? Can I like see where I was? Can I see the temple from here?
Yeah.
I mean, so I point like back through the bushes, kind of like along. This is kind of, like a bluff kind of going out along where there's like a cliff face, and I kind of point back and I'm like, I mean, the temple's maybe
That's
10 minutes that way.
that's weird. I haven't done that before. Have you done that before?
I mean, not just by standing up and looking somewhere. There's usually a little more to it than that.
Huh.
But did you need something? You said you were looking for me.
We just got back and I wanted to know where you were to be sure you were okay. And
Ah,
you seem like you're okay. So,
I mean,
just
I can come back if we're doing something.
we weren't really. We just can't. We foraged. I got snacks and I sort of hold out a handful of random foraged stuff. I mean, it's okay if you don't.
And did you learn anything that we could potentially use in the temple after we talked to Kay about it?
It was just stuff that's good to eat.
Well,
There's a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm guessing the others probably just saw you disappear. So I'll walk back
Probably
with you.
so.
So they
I'll
don't
sort
think
of-
there's two people missing.
I'll sort of fly up and out just to be sort of out in the open air and sort of wave in that direction. So they know, and then sort of
That was super cool!
I don't know what happened. Okay,
You just like
and then I'll
disappear and somehow also find Fletcher in the disappearing.
yeah.
This day is weird, and I'm going back to my room.
Your room.
Hey, I thought that
It
was
is-
my room.
Yeah, which room is your room? Is it the dormitory or is it the
The whole
temple or is
dorm?
it the training one?
Yeah, the whole dorm. It's my room.
All right.
Okay,
That's
well
fair.
that
That's fair.
first bed, don't sleep in that one.
Noted.
It's a little soggy still.
Yeah.
Ooh, gross.
Smells like
Mhm.
dead dwarf.
Uh, ugh. Yeah. And she just like bursts into tears and like like runs and like slams the door.
Cedric like
no.
turns and looks at Fletcher and Nautia, and he's like, "Oh God,
And I sort of turn to Fletcher and I'm like, that conversation's probably gonna have to wait.
Probably until dinner or tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
we not at the jokes time yet." Thought maybe that was a good. Nope.
She didn't seem like she was maybe in jokes time.
Not jokes time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Maybe jokes later.
jokes later. Got it. So,
It's been a lot. The last few days have been a whole lot.
did you find anything cool in the woods, Fletcher?
No, wasn't really looking for anything.
Yep, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in there, and I think I go to the classroom
Mhm.
room to just kind of like sit in one of the little old like booths or whatever is left in there.
Yeah, so to re-describe it, because you guys only poked your heads in very briefly last time, it's got some chalkboards on a few of the walls. There's a few other walls with, like, some shelves that have various implements on them, and also, like, books and papers and things, and there's some tables and chairs, and also, like, some, like, little desk areas. So yeah, lots of different stuff in here.
Hey, Nadia, we've never really like had time where we weren't like walking. Do you want to do you know how to play Knucklebones or dice or something like that?
Knuckle.
Like, do you know any games?
I probably know something. I feel like Nautia would have some random game that she'd picked up in the forest. So like, yeah. So she pulls again from the bag of just random things. Probably pulls out a few of those river stones and demonstrates some sort of game. I don't really know what it would look like, but it could be something that we. Yeah, so and they don't have to be stones. Like you can use, and I sort of like pull out one of the like seeds or something, and so we can play.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's play that way. And then when I take one of your pieces, I get to eat your piece. And when you take one of mine, you get to eat my piece.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you want to be seeds and I'll be berries?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Adorable.
Low-key Naughty is definitely clocking like, oh, he's eating this. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you are surreptitiously feeding Cedric via a game.
Apparently so.
He's a dog.
Uh-oh.
Gotta wrap it in cheese.
Kay is crying somewhere. and Fletcher is in the classroom. Fletcher, are you like, you're just sitting and thinking? Were you examining any of the stuff that's in there?
What time of day is it currently?
Gosh, you guys have done a bit of stuff. It's probably like early afternoon.
I think I'm writing some things in my journal, in my notebook.
Yeah. Sounds good.
If you're gonna be in there for a while, you think?
Yes.
As we're playing. So, Nautia, you're like, I mean, you're old, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I mean, you've been around since before the loss, right? So, I mean,
Yeah. I wasn't that old then, but it's been a while now.
so you're like at least twice as old as me.
How old are you?
33.
Yeah.
So old. So old.
So
33.
old.
Officially. So just want to throw it out there that I
So old.
Cedric
Oh my
is
God.
younger than I am and so old.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I literally recently I've had a couple of 20-somethings say that they think I am also a 20-something, and I was just like, oh, that bothers me now. Why?
Oh, that happened to me too. I had undergrad technicians this summer that said that, and I was just like, no,
Aren't you like
we
25?
can't,
And I'm
we
like,
can't
oh,
hang out.
no.
I'm too old to hang out with you. It's creepy. Anyways,
Nadia
Nadia
hold
and
on
Cedric
a
can hang
sec.
out.
Hold on a sec. I have to look something up real quick.
Uh-oh.
Oh
What
God.
did you... Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I was holding up 30 because that's definitely what I have written down from when you created your character. You picked the Jesus age when you said it just now. And
That's
I
what I
just
have in
wanted
my roll 20 character sheet. This was 33.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he said he was 30 when we built his character. Like, oh, okay.
It's
I told you it's been like 3 years.
Okay, so I guess it depends on how you count. So I'm 33 in dwarf years, but in human years I'm 30. We count time differently underground, but only slightly differently.
Sure. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, you don't know how old you are, right? Because you're from the elemental plane of water, where I presume they have different calendars or something, right?
We don't. I mean, it's just different. We don't have, like the sun rises every day, and it's just it's harder to track time, I guess.
See,
don't
it's the
really
same for
need to.
dwarves. It's like the humans are so, they have the sun. It's so convenient, or well, all the above ground races really. They have the sun to keep track of time. We have to keep track of time differently underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Makes perfect sense to Nautia.
Up top.
This all sounds perfectly legit.
So you've known lots of people that died?
I mean, I guess it's just. I mean, it's just part of life here. Like, there's lots of different kinds of beings, and they live and they die, and that's just how it works. Some live longer, some don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you known anybody that ever came back from the dead?
No.
Cool.
I mean, I guess, there's stories about it, especially from before, but I don't know. You died, and then I don't know why I thought we could bring you back, but I just thought we had to try. I'm glad we tried.
Yeah.
Because that I didn't know that could work.
I'll be honest, I don't think I would have tried.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys did.
Yeah. I don't want to do that again though.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
do that again.
I'll be honest. I don't know that I want to be resurrected again. I feel terrible. Like, I really just, it's not great. I mean, I'm glad to not be dead still, but boy, howdy.
I mean, the dying part certainly looked very painful. So I don't
remember it super good.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like it would have been a good memory. You were really torn up. He hurt you a lot.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, must have been, right? Kill me, right?
Yeah.
And then he just got away afterwards.
Yeah, we had him for a while, and then he must have turned into something while I was asleep, and the others didn't catch it, and he just got away.
I mean, sounds like he was way out of our league, so
Yeah.
it happens. Did we fix the river?
Not really. I don't
So-
know. We may have messed up his stuff enough that he can't keep doing it, but like we should probably be sure.
So we're going back after this.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because if he keeps, I mean, he's killing people. He's killing everything downriver.
Yeah. Well, we should, I mean, I don't remember the mine super well, but I don't think he was following proper safety protocols.
He had to use this really nasty stuff to get the metal that he was trying to get out of the ground, I guess, and it was all really bad.
Sure.
And he didn't care. I mean, we told him what he was doing and he did not care. So we should definitely go back and stop that. I don't know if he went back or not. I don't know if he was alone or not. I mean, he was alone there, but I don't know if he had, a friend who was out. I don't know. But if we can figure out a way to go back and, finish that without dying again.
Well, now we know. Don't split up the party. Seems like good life advice.
Well, but like, two of us just fell asleep down there.
Yeah, that's super weird. There is a fungus that grows in caves.
Yeah.
Pretty common that does cause sleeping.
But I guess now if we know about it, then maybe we can avoid that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If it had occurred to me at the time, probably could have just woken you guys up. It's not really a very strong effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't?
I mean, I didn't think I was going to get murdered. It didn't occur to me at the time that maybe that was what you guys were under, the effects
Maybe.
of.
Okay. Maybe.
I mean, I'm not like a cave fungus expert or anything like that.
Well, now we know, and now we cannot do that again.
Yeah. I mean, assuming that's what it was. I don't know for sure. I mean, that's just, I don't know, I just remembered that that's a possibility. It could have been some kind of advanced spell that he cast or something like that.
I guess whatever it was, Fletcher figured it out because he's the one that woke me up. So I guess he knows.
Cool. We'll ask him about it when he's done studying. I guess he's in there doing homework.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, because Kay and I were asleep. He was he was the only one that could try to help you, and it seemed like it seemed really bad for him. So like I think maybe he needs some time. He was
Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
yeah.
Oh man.
Because normally, like, I can get up in it and you can get up in it, and Kay can usually kind of fight from a little further back, but like Fletcher normally, like, he's not a get up in it kind of guy, but
Yeah, he's real.
it was just him and you and someone a lot more powerful than both of you.
Yeah, I didn't think about how that would be for him.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems so capable all the time,
Yeah, but everyone's got their limits.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you could break him in half pretty easily, but it just seems like he's always got just like clever solutions to everything.
I don't know. I guess some things you can't just clever your way out of, I guess.
It's true. I guess there are some things you can't smash your way out of too.
Mm-hmm. There are things I can't claw my way out of.
Yeah. So do you think you think I shouldn't talk to him about it right now?
I don't know. I mean, I think you should talk to him at some point. You could see. I think we just all have a lot to work through right now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it later, I guess.
Yeah, maybe give him a little time.
Sounds good. So another round?
Yeah.
All right. You want to be nuts this time?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we kind of.
What other people's doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we kind of do
there's
this for the next couple hours.
Anybody else need a scene, or do you all just sort of come back together eventually?
I think Kay's gonna check out the worship room.
Okay.
She like comes out and sees Cedric and Nautia just like talking over berries and acorns, and is like, and decides that she wants no part of it.
definitely gives the appearance of like two children literally playing with food.
Yeah, she like comes out of her room,
Yeah,
and just like stands in the doorway and was like,
we've like drawn like shapes on the ground and things like that. They're like little piles. And
yeah, and she just is like very quietly goes into the worship room.
There's a little bit of Calvin ball happening.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Okay. You open the door to the room marked worship, and inside you see a square room with bas reliefs of mountainscapes and plants and animals of this region on the walls and the ceiling, and the familiar swooping design that's tattooed on your shoulder, and 4 low stone pedestals on the middle of the floor.
She just like takes some time to, I think, like admire the artwork and stuff. Like she, like it feels like this temple feels different. Like she really hated the other ones, but this one feels different because like it's what brought her friend back. So I think she like appreciates it more. And so she just like really takes some time to kind of like look at the artistry and like look at the carvings and just like sit on the pedestal and I guess think about, because she was like absolutely convinced the gods like didn't exist, right? And then somehow we walk into this magical stone room and we get our friend back through some weird other existence thing. And so kind of everything that she had just assumed about life came crashing down in addition to her friend dying and also coming back. Like there's like kind of a lot. So she's just like she's just like taking some time. She's like sitting on the pedestal. She's like, as I feel like when last time when she was like, oh yeah, sure, I'm just gonna like talk to the gods, whatever, like this is BS. I think now she's like maybe it's possible. And is just there like admiring the artwork and like thinking about the people who may have done this, like what that means for her, how that connects her to this past, and maybe even this religion. And yeah, mulls over life a little bit more, I guess.
Okay. Fletcher, how long do you spend writing in your notebook in the training room?
I probably go back out. Honestly, probably around the time we would normally get convened to like prepare and eat dinner.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Cedric and Nautia have been playing this game all this time, but
maybe some different games.
Yeah.
Different variations on it.
Yeah, like immediately, like Cedric starts trying to explain. So, okay, so we've created a couple of house rules. So, but the basic premise is
we definitely had to go back out and get more nuts and berries at some point if we're consuming them as we go.
Yeah. But yeah, immediately it's like, okay, Fletcher, all right, get in on this. We could play with 3 people if you want. We just have to. We can here. I'll wipe out the board. We'll just create a new board with three sides.
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Aw. Okay.
Well, we got berries and nuts.
Is that dinner, or are we doing?
We could go find more.
Yep, I think there was some like antelope in my bag. If you guys kept that.
Yeah, the jerky should still be okay. If you,
unless you want something different, you want
to. I'll go into town and buy something like we did earlier today.
Okay, you want company?
I think I'm good. You guys look like you're having a good time. It'll be real quick.
right.
Okay, well, see you in a bit. Mysteriously teleport somewhere if you need us, I guess.
I'm like walking out like you say that as like walking out the door, and I just like you just see like the back of my hand just like wave as you say that, and I head back down to buy.
Okay. So you're going back to like the doorway where you bought the woodchuck in the morning? Is that?
Or if I run into somebody, ask if there's a more general tavern type place, or if there is an actual like food, someone who actually deals in the food, like how we found a tailor and these other things, rather than just like bothering the guy who does the hunting. Okay. As if he
yeah. So you managed to make it back down into the village, and nothing, like no one is immediately apparent at this moment, but like just after you sort of stop and take a look around, a doorway near you opens, and a middle-aged woman comes out, and she is someone you haven't seen before, and part of the way you know that is that the outer feathers on her wings have been dyed sort of like a bluish purple. So it's a new color, new person. And she doesn't see you immediately, and then sort of catches you out of the corner of your eye and is like, "Oh, hi! You must be one of the new people I heard about."
Yes, hello. I'm one of the 4 who arrived here yesterday.
It's wonderful to meet you. My name's Tora.
Tora, you're partners with the in the tailor shop. We stopped by there earlier, but you weren't around.
Oh, yeah. Lil and I make most of the clothing around here. That's right.
Lil helped make some new clothing for our friend that we took to the temple up there, up the path.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad we could help.
If you don't mind a lending a little more help. I was wondering if there's a place, a tavern, or if you have a sort of a market or someone who deals in food. I was looking to buy a little bit more food to take back up.
I'm not sure what a tavern is, but I mean, yeah, Jarl does a lot of the hunting. A lot of us sort of forage for, the non-animal food that we need. We don't really have a market. I know other peoples do stuff like that. We mostly just sort of share amongst ourselves in the village. But yeah, I mean, if you need help, I can certainly walk you around and introduce you to someone so you can find some food.
But she said it was Jarl is Isha's dad, the one we talked to before. Okay, so
I don't think he actually gave you his name, but yeah.
No. So, we have met Jarl, Isha's dad, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We ran into him earlier, and we did get some meat from him, and I wasn't sure if that was how it always went. I didn't want to bother him if I didn't need to.
More or less. I mean, yeah, he's not exactly a big talker, but yeah, he does a lot of the hunting for the clan. So yeah, if you need something, he's a good person to check in with. Although, like I said, he's not super friendly. But yeah, is that all you need?
Yeah, that actually helps a lot.
Great. Well, yeah, if you need anything else, I'm more than happy to help. I know most of what's going on around here, at least I try to. So yeah, let me know if you need any other help.
Thank you so much. I guess I go back to his door again to buy.
As you walk away from her, she like ducks into a different doorway than the one she came out of, and you can like already hear her talking before the door closes. But you go back to the doorway where you bought the woodchuck earlier, and knock, and this time Isha answers and is like, "Oh, hi."
Oh, hello, Isha. Maybe you can help me if your father's not home. We were just looking to buy a little more food for the night.
Oh yeah, I can do that. He's out hunting right now, but yeah, what would you like? Let's see. He and I got some squirrels earlier today, so I've got that. I don't know how many you need. Sorry, is your friend okay?
Yes, there's 4 of us now. He's back.
Wow, that's really cool. I mean, also congratulations, but wow, I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
We weren't so sure there was going to be something we could do either, but it worked out.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, is Squirrel okay?
Yeah, I suppose, would that be 1 apiece? I'm not used to thinking of squirrel portion sizes.
Yeah, so she sort of grabs they're tied up kind of in like bundles by the tail. So she has like 4 fox squirrels, which is kind of a large-ish squirrel. She's like, "Well, I've got 4 of these. This is like kind of like 1 a person. That's why we bundled them this way. Is that okay?"
I think that works great.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, here.
And how much would you like for that?
Are you bartering something, or you mean like money, or?
We paid money earlier. If that's still fine, I can definitely provide some money.
Oh yeah, a silver piece is fine.
I give her 2. I'm like, I don't want to be a burden on your people, so here's 2 silver.
Oh, wow, thanks. That's really generous. I'm super happy to help you guys. You're really interesting, and I'm so glad that you got your friend back.
We've definitely appreciated all the help from your people.
Yeah. Did you want to carry those back to, I don't know where you guys are hanging out. You want to carry them back like that? Did you want me to like skin them for you, or I don't know. I'm happy to help however.
Yeah, if we're sort of sleeping and cooking up at the temple, if you were able to skin them, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second. She grabs a knife, and you can tell she does this a lot. She skins the 4 of them, and like they're still like basically squirrel shaped, but just naked now. Which, like, you feel Kay might have an opinion on that later, but she sort of, Ija puts them in, like, a little bit of, like, burlappy type cloth that she's got and sort of hands it back to you. That should make it easier to carry since they don't have tails anymore.
And a lot faster to cook.
Yeah.
I think we're getting pretty hungry. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, of course. Let me know if there's anything else I can do. If I'm here. But yeah.
Say thank yous and goodbyes, and I'll head back up slowly to the temple with our food for dinner.
Cool. All right.
I guess I show up with sack of squirrels.
The mighty hunter returns.
I mean, I guess mighty bargain hunter.
Love it.
It's pretty good.
I set him down. If we get our fire going outside, perhaps we can.
Yeah, we can sort of set it up. There's the like bushes immediately outside the entrance are conspicuously now devoid of anything edible because we definitely stripped everything immediately in the area.
There is a busted up stump right over there. That will make some great firewood. We can it's like Cedric like kind of hops up. He's feeling a lot perkier now. I'll do the fire.
All right.
I have a quick question about the dormitory. Since it was like set up for people to be living here, is there like a fireplace set in there where you would like hang a pot? Like we could just be doing that inside?
Yeah, so behind the dwelling door there's sort of like a series of rooms, and one of them is like a kitchen / pantry. So there is like an area, and they even have like there's a little bit of a chimney that sticks out somewhere. You haven't seen the outside part of the pipe, but yeah, so there's a way to get the smoke out without it just being all in here. But yeah,
Cedric and I start scrambling for like twigs and stuff, and Fletcher just walks right by.
But yeah, there's like some tables and some shelves in there. The shelves don't really have anything left on them. There's like, well, no like foodstuffs left on them. There's a few cooking implements, but yeah.
I guess after we figure out that Fletcher's gone inside with his squirrels, we like show up like 15 minutes later with like armloads of firewood like into the dormitory. Oh, there's a kitchen in here. All right.
Well, we need the wood.
Just like dump it in the middle of the kitchen floor.
Let's just stack it and start. I just kind of I'm like, thanks. Let's just start grabbing wood and just like sticking it under the pot to get it going.
Cedric stands there like awkwardly for like a minute, just like I have spices.
I'm gonna kind of back out and just kind of on the way out, just kind of look at Cedric and just sort of like eyes toward Fletcher, and then I just disappear.
Okay.
I have spices in my bag. Should I go get those?
Yeah. You usually do our cooking if you want to take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Just keep. You're doing a great job. Stacking the wood. I'll be right back. Just keep doing that. And, like run out. Probably to the wagon, just where my bag is. Like try and find my bag, and then like open it up and like dump everything out really quickly, just like into the bottom of the wagon. Like find the bag of spices and like bring it back. Come back really quick. Like got 'em. Good to go. So you feeling like squirrel stew? Because I can do a pretty good squirrel stew with squirrel and some water and some spices. It could be better. Some mushrooms would be, but that's all we got. Squirrel's basically like a rat, so I cook it lots of different ways. We could do could just do it over the fire. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Sounds like Nautia learned a lot of things today that we could also add in.
True. We are mostly out of everything that she gathered earlier.
The stuff, like, there was some stuff that we got early on, like the leeks-ish stuff that, like, we definitely wouldn't have just been casually eating. Like, I probably would have pulled those, and you probably would have, like, tried to eat one and then gone, oh, this seems like this goes in the food kind of thing.
We do have some vegetables that Nadia said were not eating vegetables. They were cooking vegetables. Remarkably easy to get. They're just in the dirt out in the woods, which is cool.
Like, we probably gathered some, so there's probably a pile of them that we just haven't dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
I was guessing you probably brought back, like, at least a handful of each thing you learned today. Like,
so we got some starchy roots, some leeks. We got a stew going.
that sounds a lot better than
Just water and squirrel.
Squirrel and water.
Yeah. I feel like that's a Tenebrian kind of just boil meat and just, yeah. You got to put some vegetables in it, right? So,
I'll go get those.
sure. Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah, I'll get the fire going.
And I kind of quickly walk out of the room
Okay.
to go get things from Nautia.
Yeah, Nautia will have them set aside. Just like, these look like they should be good.
He asked me, "Can you help me carry all that back to the kitchen?"
Sure. I sort of hand you some, and I'll walk back with you. And
We show up
I
with
guess
everything.
Yeah, like if there's a spot I can start sort of cutting them up.
I think I sidle up next to you. I'm also chopping.
Like I said, there's like a table in here. Nadia, you might have to stand on a chair or something to reach the table.
Yeah.
Cedric's like reaching up to get into the pot. Like,
pull over a chair.
oh yeah. See, Nadia, this is what I'm saying. Everything's built for tall people.
I guess there's just more tall people around here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does make sense. The Raptorans are like really tall.
Yeah, they're really tall. They're taller than the humans. And I'll sort of pull stuff out and sort of give it like a sniff and sort of show like Fletcher, like, this, this is what this tastes like, and maybe try that.
I'm asking her if she learned each thing. I'm asking her if she learned anything special about each plant, or if it's like just food and has no other properties.
Food. Yeah, I didn't really think to ask about. We could ask. Who was it that they said would want to talk about the temple?
Sue. So, Sue is the one who has been like the caretaker unofficially of this place. Yeah. And
yeah, so
Braga
I'll
is the
mention
one that was
like,
helping you with the plant identification.
Yeah, so I'll definitely mention like Sue seemed like they were the ones that knew more about maybe the magic stuff. So you should probably find them and talk to them at some point, because it seemed like they would want to know about the temple.
Nadia, do you have any ideas about? We were talking about plants in the whole temple symbol thing.
It would have to be a lot of whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Because like it was a lot of dirt and a lot of water.
You do nature stuff, magic, and teleportation magic, but mostly nature magic, right?
I've never done teleportation magic before. I don't know how that happened.
Sure, okay, whatever. That stuff is weird. But anyways, could you like make stuff grow in the...
I haven't done that before. trying to remember. Out of character, I thought about druid crafting at some point in the last week and then didn't look it up.
Yeah. While Nautia thinks about that, how was the weather while I was dead? Has it been dry?
Been pretty good. Desert was dry.
We're in the mountains now, I noticed. It's nice. Kind of cooler up here.
Been a lot better than the desert, yeah.
It's cool. You seen anything interesting? Like,
Not besides the people here.
yeah, they're pretty cool. They're tall like you. And they can fly. That's cool too.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. That makes sense. And they have like feathers instead of hair. That's kind of cool. So you been doing all right?
Yeah. Well, here's all. I pick up the pile I chopped up and go over to the pot, dump them in. And I'm like, I'm gonna go check on Kay. I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah. I haven't seen her around in a while. That's a good idea. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna go check out her.
Okay. All right.
Shuffle out of the room.
Good. Like, as soon as he leaves, I give like Nautia this look of like, I tried.
Did not go great. Also, druid crafting is definitely a 5th edition thing. It's not a 3.5.
Stupid.
We also effectively don't have cantrips.
I
we can only use our
know.
level 0 spells once. So yeah.
Maybe we could plant a bunch of seeds and then wait like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think Fletcher wanted to. He didn't sound like he wanted to be in here with you alone.
Okay. I mean, it's not the first time that's happened to me, but I'm gonna try and not take it personally.
Yeah.
You don't think he's mad at me, do you?
I don't know. I don't really know what all happened. Like it seemed like it was pretty rough for him. So he might be.
I mean, what if I like did something and I don't remember it?
I don't know. I wasn't.
I know.
I didn't see it.
Awkward. Maybe I should apologize.
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
I'll keep working on dinner. Where did he go?
he went to go check on Kay. I feel like maybe he doesn't want to talk to me right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a tomorrow conversation.
Well, let's get dinner done and then we can go from there.
Okay. Are you mad at me? Just checking.
No.
Okay. We good?
I mean, I don't know. It's been a whole lot. I mean, I don't feel like I'm mad at you, but that was just all, it was really scary. And we're not going to do it again, right? That's just not, we're going to try not to do that again.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Because I was not awake to see him have tea and figure out the mold thing and then not do anything about it. Yep.
Nobody does.
Only
No,
Fletcher.
they don't. And Cedric apparently doesn't remember it well.
It's very foggy.
Okay.
Some bits are very foggy.
I definitely walked out and sat down and
didn't
saw
check
Kay,
on
but did not actually check in on Kay or.
Okay, not the first time.
So I'm going to guess that like the two of you make the food, so eventually Kay and Fletcher would smell the food, smelling like it was done.
I think we'll bring it out
Yeah.
when it's done.
Yeah, definitely sort of bring it out into the sort of central area we've been sort of hanging out in. But I'm not going to get them. I'm just gonna kind of maybe bang on the pot a little bit and be like, dinner if you want it.
Like as you're coming down the hallway, coming out.
No. It's definitely like comes and sets it down and it was like, ding, ding, ding. Dinner?
I
Because
think I
the
turned
awkward
around.
is palpable at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think I turned around. I ended up just like standing in sort of the doorway, looking outside again, and walk over. I'm like, oh, thank you for finishing that up, Nautia. It smells great.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we but yeah. Have some.
Yeah. We got
Where's
bowls.
Cedric?
I'm here. I'm bringing the bowls. I got the
Oh,
bowls.
did you both come out? I thought it was just Nautia.
I think
Yeah, I
Nautia
think we
came
both-
out and I was behind her
Yeah.
afterwards with bowls and spoons. We got spoons. It's so not. We have a kitchen. That's so.
fancy.
I know it's so fancy. Normally I have to eat out of my like mug. This like we got like real bowls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for preparing this.
Sure.
Kay, are you reacting to the banging on the pot and announcement of dinner?
I think she just stays longer. I don't think she like wants to face the group right now.
All right. Well, then in that case, before he starts eating, Cedric is gonna get up and kind of go over and like kind of knock on the door and just be like, "Okay, there's dinner if you want it."
Which door are you knocking on? Because she moved rooms and y'all weren't paying attention.
This was just like the general dormitory, wherever the beds are. Yeah. So.
You don't hear anything.
Yeah. Okay, I think Kay just wants to be left alone. Maybe she's asleep.
Okay. We'll save her some.
Yeah. Well, dive
So
in,
we just-
y'all.
We're just awkwardly sitting in a circle, slurping soup.
Yep.
Oh.
As Cedric takes his first bite, though,
Uh-oh.
he like
Mm.
spits it back into the bowl, and he's like,
Uh-oh.
"Oh, guys, I think there's something wrong with this squirrel."
Is it bad? Like, I'll take a bite. Is it okay?
Tastes fine.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't eat that. That doesn't taste right.
It seems fine to me.
Tastes better than a lot of the things we've eaten so far.
I wonder. Because you ate all that other stuff today, no problem.
Sure.
you
Yeah,
didn't
the
like
nuts
the-
and berries. Yeah, they were great.
But you didn't like the meat at breakfast,
Oh.
and then
Try the vegetables.
Okay.
yeah, I'll like pull out some more of the like just like some of the root vegetable maybe that we didn't cook. Like,
Oh, the raw root vegetable. All right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's
eh.
fine. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of got a planty flavor, but yeah, it's all
Yeah.
right.
And the sort of leak stuff. The more the more.
Oh wow,
I
yeah.
know, whatever the more sort of palatable
I see
vegetables
now
are.
why you told me not to eat it raw. It's like my eyes are like, woof. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
an intense flavor right there.
But like you
Oh
can, but it's not like, but you don't feel sick.
no, I mean I still feel a little bit sick from earlier, and then maybe I had too many berries. But yeah, no, I'm fine.
Hmm.
You guys don't think that
That's
squirrel tastes
It
bad?
tastes fine to me. We cooked it a long time, and the spices are really good.
You
What
should have
about? And
said they caught it today.
I'm gonna pull out a little bit of the jerky from your bag. What about that? Like you've tried this. You know this is okay, right?
Yeah, sure.
So try that.
I will grab it out of your hand and put it into my mouth,
No,
and then like
oh.
pull it back out of my mouth and be like,
Oh.
"No, this has gone bad or something. This tastes disgusting." Nope.
You said you felt weird after you came back.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe what?
Well, you've been okay with like the plant stuff, but each time you try meat, you feel sick. I mean, some people just can't eat meat. Some people only eat meat. It's that whole thing. There's lots of different kinds of, creatures and stuff.
Are you saying I've turned into a different kind of creature?
I don't know. Just maybe you can't do meat anymore. I don't know.
It sounds super weird. I mean, meat is the most important, part of a balanced meal.
I don't know. You came back from the dead, and that's not supposed to happen, so I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me. But I agree there is several pieces of evidence that support what you're saying.
I mean,
Oh my gosh, does that mean I can't eat rat anymore?
Hay picks this exact moment to come out of the room.
I was
Hey,
waiting for it.
Cedric! Hey, how are you feeling, Cedric? How's the soup, everyone? She like looks at the pot and just assumes it's soup and trots over, like gets a bowl. Huh, looks kind of rat-like. Bet Cedric must have loved it. And she just takes a huge bite. This one's for you, Cedric. Oh.
Cedric's like leans forward and he's like, "What do you think?"
It tastes oddly like the soup you had in the room.
The room.
the magic room.
Oh.
When we were trying everything except the most obvious thing.
You're muted, Kay.
Actually, this is really interesting because like when we went to get you back from the dead, there was like this really weird part where we were in like a room of all your stuff, including your armor, which doesn't make sense because obviously that doesn't exist. And you were like on the other side of this barrier, and we were trying to figure out how to get you back. Anyway, there was this soup, and I was like, maybe we have to eat the soup to get Cedric back. It turns out you did not have to eat the soup, but this soup tastes like that soup that was on your table in your room. And she like takes a big slurp.
Okay. That's the first time hearing about any of this, and I do not remember a soup, a death soup.
No, you were on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah, you were on the other side of the barrier. So that's why I was like, oh, must be like Cedric's favorite soup. It was like warm and everything. So like I ate it because I was like, maybe I have to eat it. It turns out that all he had to do was like reach out across the barrier and like
We
call
tried
your
a
name.
lot of things.
I mean, I tried to put your hammer across the barrier, so it's not like I didn't.
You
try
touched
to
my
get you back.
hammer?
Yeah, I like picked it up and I like stuck it across for you to grab onto, but apparently that like didn't count. Nautia is the
We
one who
tried
actually
so many
saved your
things.
life. because she like reached through and like called your name and stuff, which now in hindsight makes a lot of sense. But I was like kind of panicking. I did also try and hit you with the hammer, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, the soup on your like death table was really good and it tastes like this soup actually. So do you not like it?
It's weird that this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Like, I feel like I've been not dead for like at least 12 hours now or something, and this is like the first time this has come up.
It's like you were there. I just thought that you saw that, I guess. I mean, maybe not because it was like foggy, kind of.
I do remember a mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we could see you, sort of.
I'm sorry I tried to hit you with your own hammer.
It's cool, I guess. I don't remember it.
We tried a lot of different things.
We tried a lot of different things.
It took a while.
Like, anyway, back to the soup.
35 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
so
to put a number on it.
Not that I counted or anything while I was editing the episode, because oh my god.
I'm sorry we didn't think to like reach across the barrier and like call your name.
Sure,
It
it's
seems
fine.
pretty
I probably
obvious.
didn't suffer brain damage or anything like that while I was dead for
Yeah,
35
probably
extra
not.
minutes. Probably fine.
Kay is like he's like pointedly trying to like show Cedric that she is eating the rat. It's so good.
Well, I guess I'm
gonna
glad
sort
you
of
like
fish out
it.
I'm gonna fish out sort of a piece of vegetable, like just one of the vegetable pieces in the stew, and sort of hold it out. What about?
Cedric like goes like, eats it off your spoon.
God.
I mean, it has kind of a weird taste to it, but I mean, it's okay, I guess.
But you're not. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's got kind of a weird, like, kind of a metallic flavor almost. Not that there's anything
maybe you
wrong
should
with
have
that,
some.
but-
So I sort of grabbed another handful of like the nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I'm full. We've
Okay.
I've been
You
I've been
ate a
eating nuts and berries
lot
all
of
day.
nuts and
I'm good,
berries.
you guys. But I'm
Mhm.
glad you guys like the stew. Maybe
I'm
it's
sure
my
it's-
refined dwarven palate.
Maybe. I mean, maybe it's just like if you wait a little while, it'll pass.
Yeah, I mean, like you came back from the dead. It's amazing your digestive system works at all, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
like your
I'll be
body
honest,
is
guys,
torn up.
it's not working super great. It's been rough today.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, we can kind of hang out and, you can kind of recuperate a little bit and we can see.
Yep, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone maybe just needs a little time.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure. I think maybe tomorrow will suck a little less.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm going to
Yeah.
try to subtly look over toward Fletcher. I will not successfully subtly look over toward Fletcher.
A
just,
slide up
like,
expression.
Feel
check.
a need to check in a little bit. So kind of a, and then back.
Just to be
Is it
clear,
Fletcher leave or is he just sitting there?
the subtlety is the part that you were unsuccessful on, right? Like,
Yeah, like sort of doing sort of a visual check-in that looks like I'm not trying to be obvious, but like accidentally like make eye contact kind of thing.
I've just been sitting there, just eating the soup.
Mm-hmm.
When I make eye contact with you, like bringing this, I'm just like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Soup's okay for you?
it's good.
Okay. Yeah. I'll eat up tonight and get another good night's sleep, and maybe tomorrow will be better.
I know today like kind of sucked, And the last few days really kind of sucked. But I mean, like, if I were to spend shitty days with anyone, like, you're a good group of people to spend crappy days with. They're like slightly less crappy because we have good people here.
Cedric kind of reaches, like, we're sitting in a circle. Cedric reaches over and, like, kind of punches you in the knee, like, kind of a, yeah.
Hey, spills soup on her lap.
oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I think I've got, I've got a piece of a shirt you can use to wipe yourself off with. Grab it.
It's
bloody,
fine.
torn up piece of shirt.
I think that shirt is worse.
It smells
than
like
some
5-day-old dead dwarf.
It does. It gets near Kay and she's like, get that out of the case.
Yep. Throw the fire.
Well, we'll figure out a game plan tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna go to bed in our room, as the case may be, and like heads over to the dormitory.
Okay.
The dead dwarf bed is still reserved for you, Cedric.
Cool.
Yeah. Finish my bowl and set it down. Thanks for cooking. That was real good. I think I'm gonna turn into.
Yeah, thanks for getting a squirrel.
No problem. And walk to another room with a bed to go to bed.
Okay.
I feel like Cedric just like kind of looks at Nautia and like, oh.
Yep.
Yep. Well.
Yeah. Okay. That didn't go badly, except for you not being able to eat the.
Yeah, that sucked.
Maybe it'll pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like sometimes you get sick and you can't eat certain kinds of food, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Yeah. And I'll kind of take the stuff back and like clean up the dishes, I guess.
I'm guessing conjure water is really handy for dishwashing. Just like.
Yeah, I guess if it's the end of the day, just spin that.
I'm gonna go to bed early too.
Wait,
I guess.
You're casting a spell?
Yep.
Sorry, there was one other wild magic surge redeemed.
Oh, good. I'm creating water in the kitchen to try to clean the dish.
See, that's what you get for trying to wash the dishes. Kay left dirty dishes, and nothing bad's gonna happen to her.
So I had rolled it earlier, just waiting for the opportunity. So you cast the create water spell to wash the dishes, and then, like, as the water is, I guess, coming out of your hands, more or less, you also feel something on your face. And she looks so horrified right now. And you sort of, like, do the thing where you, like, look down, at your, and realize that you have somehow grown, I'm not making this up, it's what it says on the table, you grow a long beard made out of feathers. Which is, like, oddly appropriate.
That is weirdly appropriate. That's fantastic. And did they just stay? Like, it's just there?
They're there for
like
right
it's growing
now.
out of my face?
Yeah, there's just...
Yeah. Oh man, she does not want to bug anybody right now, so she's like hiding in the kitchen, basically.
Okay, so I'll save you the torture. As you're hiding in the kitchen, like cleaning everything up, as you're putting all of the spice, packets back together, something spicy sort of, in the air gets into your nose, and you sneeze, and the feathers go everywhere. And there's no more beard.
Okay. And then she just sort of like gathers all the feathers up and like shoves them in a bag and leaves. Like gets everything put away and then just walks out like nothing happened and just goes and sits out at like the entrance to the temple. If there's like a little bit of a cliff face, she's gonna sit there and just sit and just stare off into the void for a little
I can't
while.
believe both of them happened to you.
It's so perfect though.
I mean, Method is an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, Nikki, don't spend another 2,000 points. This is the end of the episode. Save
my
it
God.
for later.
That was Andrew and Nikki, right?
That was, well, the first one was Andrew.
The first one was Andrew.
Nikki.
Thanks, guys.
I like how Andrew haunts us even from the dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
If only.
He was the one that gave us all those advantages for the last one,
That's
right?
true. He gave you all the
Yeah,
clues
no,
to
it's
solve
been-
the puzzles.
He's been haunting us in a
He
good way.
plays
Thank
both
you,
halves
Andrew.
of the- both
Andrew's
halves.
the agent of chaos. He's gonna be my next warlock patron.
Andrew. I'm sure he'll have words for me about that later. Okay, but sounds like people are awkwardly going to sleep in the dormitory, picking bunks as far apart from one another as possible, it seems. So we will,
Yeah, where does Cedric pick?
yeah.
I guess
Dead
the same.
dwarf bed.
Yeah, he's gonna like go into the same bed. Feels bad getting another one dirty, but he's gonna take off his new clothes and like make up like a neat pile next to the bed.
Nice.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, so we will pick up there next time. Next time will be finds calendar. Next time will be next week. That's right. Next Sunday, back here, 6 p.m. Eastern, like normal. You can catch up with our delightfully awkward group of adventurers who are having existential crises and
Good time. It's fine. Everything's fine.
trying
We're fine.
to re-understand how they fit together as a group, as a team. This was an awesome episode, absolutely full of roleplay, and I appreciated it. I hope the audience had a good time too. Thank you to everyone who was hanging out and watching us. We really appreciate you being here and making jokes in the chat and watching the drama and redeeming channel points to mess with Cindy. Specifically, somehow.
I just saw Andrew's last comment in the chat.
Yeah.
Blue Vecnum Ephistopheles. Andrew. Checks out.
So yeah, we'll be back then. Don't forget to mark on your calendars. October 17th will be our like really long day marathon stream to celebrate the 50th episode of Arda, which will be the end cap on that marathon stream. So yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to join us in the Discord and hang out and chat about all kinds of things. But yeah, I think we're going to get out of here now. So we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.